fun. There's a lot of great looking matches tonight, championship matches tonight. Tonight really is one of those kind of big, juicy shows. Obviously, we had a great show last week with Seth Rollins being on the show, defending the world's title. There's not really anything that big, but we do have the NXT championship being defended. We do have the women's championship being defended. We've got the Heritage Cup being defended. We've got the tag titles being defended. We've got Gigi Dolin taking on Kiana James as well. So there's loads of matches, loads of things that are going down during NXT. And as we said, this should be a really, really fun show. Last week, I was kind of out of it because I'd been at the cricket. And so I was not in a great place at all. I remember just trying to get through that stream. I remember it being a case of like, right, okay, we've got to get through this, which was not the great kind of best week to have that kind of a problem. Obviously, last week's show was pretty big, pretty tasty, but I think we did all right. I think we got through it. But I'm a lot more with it this week. I'm a lot more present. And I am, as I said, looking forward to tonight's show. So we can go through a bit of a breakdown, a bit of a rundown as to what we are seeing, like match-wise. As you said, the big one, Carmelo Hayes against Baron Corbin. I thought it was a good match that Carmelo had last night on Raw. He obviously competed against Finn Balor. I thought there was some nice little showcase stuff in there for him. He did pick up the loss, though, which was a bit of a surprise. So he did lose on Raw. But obviously we see him again tonight, and he's going to be defending that NXT Championship. I expect him to win here. I actually don't think I'm expecting any titles to change hands. We've just got Nathan Frazer just won the Heritage Cup, so I don't think that changes hands. Tiffany Stratton not long got the women's title. I can't see her losing it to Thea Hale. Carmelo, unless he's about to get called up, which would be maybe a little strange considering we just had the draft. You would think he would go up as part of that, but he didn't. So unless he's about to go up to the main roster, and so he's going to lose the belt to Baron Corbin, and Corbin's going to have a run with the NXT title, I think that, for me, it's going to be that Carmelo retains. And then, of course, Gallus against Enofe and Blade. I suppose that could change hands, but Enofe and Blade haven't really been built up that much. So I'm not expecting that to change hands either. So I think the one that feels like it might change hands might actually be the NXT Championship. But I still don't think it's going to happen. So what we'll do is we'll jump in the chat, see what people are saying, and we will put a poll up to see who you think is going to leave as NXT champion. So who wins? Is it going to be Baron Corbin or is it going to be Carmelo Hayes? Which way is that match going to go? Carmelo Hayes. There we go. Boom. Right. Jeremy said Raw almost did 2 million. Collision only did 550. That's an ouch, but it was number one in the demo. So what I would say about Collision number is I've been waiting for it. I wanted to know how much the drop-off was going to be. So we have gone from 815 to, I think it was just under 600,000. I think I saw it was 595, but I might have been wrong on that. Either way, it is 5 something. It is a hell of a drop-off. It's a bigger drop-off than I think Rampage saw, and a bigger drop-off than percentage-wise than what we saw from Dynamite's debut to the second episode. So this has dropped harder, right? What that means going forward is it might not drop too much more. This just might be the drop. People might have tuned in to check it out, and that's it now. I really wouldn't be surprised if this holds. I'm not expecting it to go up. I think, if anything, it could just hold at around the 550 to 600,000 mark. 550 to 600,000. That might be where we stay. Now, a lot of people are going to look at that and say that that's a garbage number. But to be honest, we've spoke about this. Apparently, there was old movies in that time slot before, and they were getting 300 to 400,000. So for Collision to come along and be getting close to 600,000, that's still not terrible. And as you said, the demo looked all right. And I think, as I said before, wrestling fans made their mind up. This needed to be 1 million, right? I think there's a lot of people out there that already decided this had to be 1 million. They're not basing that on anything. Like there's no reason to think that this should do 1 million. But I think a lot of people have decided it should do 1 million. I think that if this can settle at the 550 to 600,000 range, I think that's okay. We're talking NXT numbers then. NXT being on a Tuesday night, of course, whereas Saturday, I would think, is really competitive, really difficult night. And as we said, in that time slot, 300 to 400,000 apparently, so is what movies were doing. You can make the argument of buying a movie to play is cheaper than having to pay for Collision, so the cost may be different. But to be honest, we just don't see that breakdown. I have no idea what they were hoping for, what their expectation is. Only the executives and Tony, higher-ups in AEW, only they will know if this is good or if it's bad. For me, I would think that it's okay. I wouldn't think it's mind-blowing. I would think it's okay. So this is why it's not like, ha, 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 look at this number that AEW's pulled kind of a situation. I think that number's okay. I don't think it's amazing. I don't think it's a disaster. I think it's okay. But, I mean, listen, if it's not, then you'll soon see Tony, like, booking and panicking and hot-shotting and announcements and all this kind of stuff. You'll soon see a reaction if that is a concern. And the other thing as well is I don't think it drops much further. What if it does? What if next week the number comes out and it's 400 and some thousand? It goes down to say 450, 470, right? Then you might go, wow, yeah, okay, now we're getting down to where those movie numbers were. So 300 to 400,000, that's kind of where we was before. I've got to think as long as we're healthily above that, then things are okay. But it'll be very interesting to hear what Meltzer's got to say. He tends to have some interesting insight. See what WrestleNomics are saying. See if there's any word coming out from AEW or any word coming out from the network. It feels okay, but not amazing. But I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see kind of what the chatter is about it. It's a big drop-off, though. The perception amongst wrestling fans won't be brilliant. That is a problem. So for those fans that just don't really think along those lines and were expecting 1 million or just don't really know, if that's a good number or not, for it to go from 815 down to 595, that is going to be a big drop. And as I said, the perception's not going to be great. Sean G said, good Tuesdays. Continue to enjoy the content. Sean, shout out to you, buds. Really appreciate the support. And I'm pleased that you enjoy the streams. I'm very grateful for everyone that joins us on a regular basis, or even if you're just joining us for the first time as we get our teeth into the wrestling news, share our thoughts. And as we said, as I'm sharing my thoughts, feel free to put yours in the chat as well, as we'll, tackle a lot of different subjects. Messi the God said, can we expect Bray or Howdy or Eric Rowan at Money in the Bank? I'm not expecting that. I mean, no would be my answer. I don't think you should expect it. It could happen. Bray or Howdy could make an appearance, so it's not impossible. But am I going into it with an expectation that I'm going to see them? No, I'm not. I think that SummerSlam is what I'm looking at for Bray. Obviously, we still don't quite know what the issue is. There was someone that said they had heard that it was like COVID complications. I've not seen that reported or picked up by anyone, so I don't know how true that is. But that's a theory that I've heard. There's obviously lots of theories out there that it's a mental health issue as well. So the bottom line is we don't know. I mean, that's just speculation, isn't it? So we don't know. But I was just talking about it on the Wrestling Escape Pod with Triple T. And we were kind of in agreement that SummerSlam would be the place because SummerSlam is where we've seen the likes of Brock and Becky and Bayley and Io and Dakota. We that show has had surprises on it. It's had people returning on it for the past few years. And I think that's where we're definitely going to see someone come back. There's a few people out. So you've got Bray, who's out, Big E, who is surely coming back soon because, to be honest, he has had a checkup in March and things were looking really, really good for him. So, and he's in great, he's been hitting the gym for a long time. He's absolutely as big as he's ever been. He's in great shape. He feels as good as ever. I believe he was given the okay back in March time. So I think for SummerSlam, bringing him back, they're obviously taking every precaution, and they should. But he is definitely a name that I think could be in the run-in for a return. Randy as well. Don't know where we are with Randy. Obviously, mixed reports on Randy also. But yeah, Randy, Big E. I think Drew comes back at Money in the Bank. But Bray, those are the kind of names that we're looking at or thinking about when it comes to SummerSlam. So Santiago said, I've got a feeling they're going to split Tricker Mello. Mello gets called up. Williams stays in NXT like Elektra and Legado. WrestleBuzz said, wonder the Collision number will be against premium live events. I think that they might, will they move during premium live events? Or will, if they're going to stay in the same slot, I've got to think that it's going to be difficult for them because if their normal number is going to be 550, 600,000, there's going to be a percentage of that are interested in watching both. It's not that 100% of people that watch AEW only watch AEW. There is a number, I don't know what the number is, but there will be a number that watch AEW and WWE. And I think if your choice is, do I watch Collision or do I watch Money in the Bank? I've got to think you're choosing Money in the Bank there just because you're pretty much guaranteed to get some big eventful moments at Money in the Bank. I don't know what they'll do, actually. It will suffer. It's as simple, but they had to know that when they got that Saturday time slot. They had to know that was going to be an issue. So, yeah, going up against Money in the Bank is going to be a problem. I could see there being a dip as they go up against Money in the Bank. But I think their normal week-by-week number, I am expecting it to settle at that 550 range. I don't think we'll see a massive drop-off on a weekly basis. But you're absolutely right. Going up against premium live events, yes. Trini hates the mustache man said, I've got to agree with you, James. I'm not a Punk fan, as we know. The shows have been solids. Yeah, the reviews of the shows are good. The reviews of the shows are that it's good commentary team, and basically, I think Collision is what a lot of people were hoping Dynamite would be. And Collision is credible, good. It doesn't have some of the silliness, dare I say. It doesn't have some of the Jericho-ness that maybe you get on Dynamite. But the problem is it's on a Saturday. It's on a Saturday. It's a shame they can't switch it round and put the good show that's I'm hearing great, because you don't hear great reviews every week for Dynamite. But the 2 episodes of Collision have been very well received. And honestly, I've not watched Collision, but of the clips that I've seen from Collision, straight away you hear the commentary team and you go, yes. So they just sound so credible and professional, and just yes. You just go, yes, this is brilliant. Tony Schiavone is awful. He is awful. He should not be on commentary. He should be nowhere near commentary. Hearing Kevin Kelly and Nigel McGuinness, just absolutely brilliant. And I thought the commentary, I've got to give praise to the commentary for Forbidden Door, because I thought the commentary, I know Tony occasionally jumped on, but I thought they did a great job for the commentary on Forbidden Door as well. I like Taz. I think Taz is good on commentary. I actually like Taz and Excalibur together. I think they kind of bounce off each other really well, and I think they're really fun. The problem I have with Excalibur is great at naming the moves, but I don't really think everything's like up here with Excalibur. Everything's like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. You know, everything's exciting. I don't find the peaks and the troughs. I don't find that he can talk to me like normally and then get animated and infused. Like, he seems to be animated and enthused about pretty much everything, which then means nothing like really stands out, right? Like, because he's just like happy and excited about everything. So he needs a few more peaks and troughs. We need, like, maybe he could dial back a bit on like naming every single move, and instead like tell the story of the match a bit more, and don't have everything be so exciting and everything be so enthusiastic, so that it colors the match a little bit more. I think there's a place on commentary for Excalibur. I wouldn't take him off commentary, but I would sit down and watch some of the matches and just kind of go back through and just be like, I think you could do this, think you could do that. Because, as I said, I think the commentary at Forbidden Door, I think the commentary in Collision is much, much better. So it is a shame. I think the product is, from what I'm seeing, I think it is a better product. So it's a shame that the numbers aren't reflecting that. Because it does, you know, you could use it as an argument of like, well, we're giving you what you've asked for, but we're not getting the numbers as a result. But it's like, well, yeah, but you're putting it on a flipping Saturday, ain't you? If you didn't put it on a flipping Saturday, maybe you would get the numbers. So it is a bit of a shame. Andrade and Buddy Matthews was easily one of the best matches I've seen this year, says James. Wild said, so much wrestling this week. Forbidden Door, Raw, NXT, Dynamite, Collision, SmackDown, Money in the Bank. It's stacked, innit? Stacked. Arlene said, great WEP episodes. I was trying to explain to my husband why I was laughing so much, says Arlene. Arlene, shout out to you. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was obviously we was joking around, guys. We were joking around. Although it's funny because even though we obviously have fun with it, there is a very serious, like, very interesting topic that we've been like getting our teeth into for a few weeks. And obviously I won't bore people here with it, but it's an experience I had that I genuinely did not know how to deal with. And again, we've kind of gone back to it this week as we've kind of discussed what the right thing to do was. It has been really interesting, like talking about it and exploring how different people. I mean, the advice that I got today from Triple T, and when he asked those guys, I mean, that is mental. I mean, I think it shows how badly you could actually deal with that situation. I think it shows just how drastically wrong that situation could go. So the fact that I think the fact that I kind of came out with it with some sort of dignity, I mean, not much, but a little bit, means that, I mean, at least I didn't completely botch it. But yeah, it's been very interesting. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Jim said, Tony Schiavone used to be a great commentator. I think he lost a lot of credibility when the NWO came onto the scene, where he was clearly biased against the NWO, says Jim. I mean, he stepped away from the business as well, didn't he? And I sort of feel like the business has moved past him. So I sort of feel like I think he does love wrestling. I don't think that's a problem. I do question how much he loves the AEW products. You know, when you hear someone saying, this is great, this really is great, you sort of wonder, are they telling me that, or are they telling themselves? Wow, this match, this is great. We're so spoiled. And it's like, but he never says it in a way that I genuinely believe that he means that. I really just don't think the AEW, I think the AEW is a payday for him. But I don't know that the product is something that really grabs him and is something that he really believes in. And I think that's a problem when he is your commentator, and he is the voice or one of the voices of your product. I just think that and I think they know that as well, because they did move him to like a backstage interviewer role, didn't they? But for some reason, he still seems to find his way onto commentary. I don't get it. I don't understand. I mean, they looked at Jim Ross and went, he ain't got it. He ain't got it anymore, and he don't believe in it. And so, they've moved Jim Ross away from commentary. And, we don't use him as much now. And then, like, the same can be said with Tony. So they've moved Tony to do backstage stuff, but somehow he still finds his way to the booth. He still finds his way to get a headset on. I don't really understand. Just run with Excalibur and Taz. I mean, just run with the 2-man booth. That's fine. You don't need a 3-man booth. And as I said, I think those two actually bounce off each other really well. But I think that can be improved. I think the commentary there can be improved. But love what I'm hearing from the Collision commentary. I think they do a great job. So yeah, I mean, look, I feel a little sorry for Collision. I think from what I'm seeing, it's a really good product that deserves better numbers than it's getting. I'm already seeing people on Twitter saying this is just a glorified Rampage. And it's like, I don't think it is, to be honest. I don't think it is a glorified Rampage, because Collision's got its own roster in a way, and it's got its own commentary team, and it's the reviews are good, and it feels like there are actual storylines playing out there, and there's things like it feels more like a Dynamite than a Rampage. But the perception is, as these numbers continue to drop, that it is just a glorified Rampage. It's a shame. It is a shame. Sean said, Vince in creative has been increasing since the merger announcement. Would it not be better to see Triple H can call shows good or bad on his own, says Sean. I think that he has been doing shows on his own. So I think we know what a Triple H show looks like on his own. Vince obviously had to step away. And as you say, since the merger's been announced, Vince has been getting a little more involved. But I mean, there was a good chunk of time from, was it like July? From July up until when the merger, I mean, we're talking months and months and months and months and months there. I don't think Vince ever went away. I mean, I don't think he ever was not talking to Triple H. And I don't think Triple H was ever not reaching out to Vince. I think that there will have been questions that Triple H will have had as he was navigating. I think there's a lot of stuff that Triple H will have felt comfortable with, a lot of the smaller stuff. And I think that, trying to work out maybe how often to use someone, or how often can you run rematches, or I don't know, those sorts of questions. There will have been stuff that he would have checked in with Vince on. So I don't think Vince really ever fully went away. I think that he will have been advising on some degree pretty much all throughout. But yeah, I mean, now seemingly he's coming in and actually ripping up scripts and being a lot more involved now. So would it be better to just leave Triple H to it? I mean, I would say yes. I would say yes. I agree with the points that get made that a show that is being booked by Triple H and the creative department, it doesn't benefit by having Vince come in, who seemingly is not as involved as he used to be. There's no benefit for him coming in and ripping it up and changing stuff, right? It's not necessarily going to help the product. It's deviating storylines, and it's undermining Triple H's authority, and last minute changes are not ideal. Okay, so none of that I've got a complaint with. None of that I would argue. All of that I agree is not ideal, right? The only thing that I do disagree with is I don't see that conversation being had on social media. I don't see people having good, educated conversations about why Vince is bad or what specifically he's changing. It boils down to its core that wrestling fans now see that Vince is involved, and that's it. It's horrific. It's horrific. There's no knowledge or understanding as to what's changed, why it's changed. They don't even know who's changed it. There's examples that keep getting chucked around of things that got changed. And then I hear that it was Triple H that changed it, not Vince. So Vince gets blamed for changing stuff that it turns out it didn't even change. So again, you know, because people don't have the full picture, because people are only getting fed bits of information and some of that information is not even correct, I don't understand how people can then jump on the bandwagon of everything Vince is doing is garbage, fire Vince, and all that kind of stuff. I agree that him changing stuff, as I said, last minute is not ideal. I can understand it would upset the wrestlers. I can understand it's not in line with the planned storylines. But if he genuinely feels that that change needs to be made, I don't have his perspective as to why he wants to change it. I don't have his side of the story. I don't have his side. I also don't have seemingly very accurate, good information as to what's changing and why it's changing. I don't have enough information to base an opinion on it. I don't have enough information to know how to really respond to, like, you know, this information. It just seems that where we've got to, and this is what I am passionately against, where we have got to is it is in wrestling news outlets' advantage. It's in their prerogative to put articles out telling you if Vince was involved, if he was not involved. And the reason they do it is to promote, to get passionate responses back from the fans. That this negativity around Vince's involvement, right? This passionate negativity, it seems to be getting fueled by the news outlets that are drip feeding like really mixed and sometimes not even accurate information. But it's in their benefit. I keep saying this. It's in their benefit. If they're like, guys, breaking news, Vince is all over SmackDown this week. They know, because they've done it so many times now, they know that there's going to be a positive reaction. There's going to be a big outburst. There's going to be a big negative reaction. And so, you know, that's great for clicks, great for views. It's great for engagement. It's great for all that stuff. I just want to be a bit more nuanced with my reaction to it. I just want to be a little bit more level-headed with my reaction to it. You know, I am not coming onto the stream saying Vince is the greatest thing that's ever happened. I love the fact that he's involved. I hope he changes the script before the show every week. Right? That's I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I don't have accurate information as to what's being changed, why it's being changed, how it affects things. You know, and I'm seeing Vince get blamed for stuff that's not his bit. Vince got blamed for Brock and Omos, which I saw a report that was not Vince. I saw a report that said that was planned ages ago before the merger, and that was something, you know, they were going to do Brock against Bray, and Brock refused to do the Bray match. That was the planned match. Brock refused it. And so that's how he ended up going into a match with Omos. But as soon as that match was announced, Vince was the one that got the blame for it. It's like, oh, this is a Vince match. This is what I'm saying. There's a lot of jumping to conclusions. There's a lot of ignorance. There's a lot of missing detail, missing information that is out in the wrestling universe. Not just on this, but on a lot of different subjects. And it gets pushed and promoted to garner a certain response. And that's just not what we do, man. That's not what we do. I'd much rather have level-headed conversations where we go, do you know what? Bring me the information. Let's have a look at what's being said. How do we think about it? What do we think about it? Is that a good change? Is that a bad change? Like, you know, and we have a good conversation about it. So I like to kind of analyze things a bit more, think about things a little bit more rather than that jump into conclusion. So that's why I'm not passionately like, oh, get rid of Vince. Like, he needs to be completely gone from the business. It probably would be better if he was, because one thing we haven't spoke about is all the allegations against him. That is a different subject for me. You know, if we're going to talk about creative and we're going to talk about what he's doing with creative, we can have that conversation. But the allegations and stuff don't come into it because we're talking about creative. If we talk about the allegations and we put the creative to one side, none of that looks good. None of that looks good. All of that should be enough for him to go away, right? And stay away. Because the allegation stuff is, you know, it just doesn't look good, does it? I know he's not been found guilty of anything, but that's because none of it's gone to court because he's paid them off. And there's two ways of looking at it. I mean, you're innocent till proven guilty. Totally agree with that. Totally agree. You can't, you know, he's not guilty. He hasn't been found guilty. He's not had a fair trial. We haven't heard the evidence, right? So we don't know, right? I'm not going to jump to the conclusion of saying that because he's paid him off, he's guilty, okay? Again, level-headed. I like to see the evidence. But equally, doesn't look good, does it? Doesn't look good. I think we can also agree, doesn't look good. So would it just be better for him to go away, he's had his time, and let Triple H run it? Yeah, I think it would. I think it would. And if people want to have the conversation about it for that reason, I'm a lot more into that conversation. But the conversations I'm seeing where people are laying into Vince because of the creative side of stuff, it's not. I just think there's a lot of missing information. You know, a lot of missing information. Miguel said, Liv is prettier than Charlotte and Bailey and Becky and Natalia and Roxanne and Asuka and Raquel and Scarlett. Okay. Trini Daze doesn't hate you. I don't hate anyone in the chat. Outlaw Angel says, an intelligent discussion and respectful exchange of thoughts, opinions, ideas on social media, one could only dream. Yeah, I mean, I think where I constantly fall down is I constantly fall down with looking at Twitter and forgetting that a lot of that is, for example, I never look at Twitter and think that accounts are bots. I never do that. I never, ever look at an opinion or look at a post and think to myself, that could be a bot. I never think that. But we know that there is a lot of there's a lot of fake accounts. There's a lot of bot activity. There's a lot of stuff that goes on with algorithms and things on Twitter. And this isn't, I know it sounds like mad conspiracy. It's not. Factually, there is a lot of that stuff that plays out on Twitter. So that means a lot of the things you read, or certainly some of the things you read, have not even come from actual people with actual opinions. It's just algorithms, AI generated stuff, which is just made up fake rubbish, right? That's just used to get something trending a little bit more. You know, every time something's mentioned, it obviously trends higher. So the more that you can fire stuff out that mentions certain buzzwords, the higher up in the trending they'll go. So that's the reason why someone would do it. So, but I never, ever read a tweet and think, yeah, that's a bot, that is. So I never do that. I also never read a tweet and think it's a child, right? I never do that either. Just actually, like, sometimes there might be a few giveaways in the chat that someone might be of a certain age as I'm reading things. But I would say 9 times out of 10, I never think I'm reading posts from like a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old or a, you know, I never, or an 8-year-old even. Sometimes you can read some and it will come across as it's come from a younger mind. And so then I think, you know, okay, I feel like I'm dealing with a youngster here. But by and large, I would say 9 times out of 10, I always feel like I'm talking to adults in the chat. Yeah. Hence why we tend to have such serious conversations, like, you know, where we're not joking around as much like this, because I feel like when I'm talking to people, I'm talking to adults. And that's why we go into like the more serious conversations. But I never go onto Twitter and think that it's kids. I also never go onto Twitter and think that I'm talking to people that have only just come into wrestling. I never do that. I always think everyone's been watching for years and years and years and years and years. I think that's because people are always so certain with their opinions that every opinion you read seems to come from I know this is fact kind of a point of view. And it always seems to come from someone that's been watching forever, that's just, been round the block. They know everything. This is how I feel. I'm absolutely adamant in my opinion. And so I never think I'm talking to people like that. But, it's amazing, isn't it? I mean, I have no idea what percentage of people on Twitter are people that are adults that have been watching for years and years and years, that aren't bots, that aren't like just putting out like, trolling posts, that aren't just putting out like, stuff for fun, that are actually sharing genuine opinion. I have no idea what percentage of the things I see are, let's say, genuine, right? I have no idea. But pretty much everything I read on Twitter, I take at face value. I'm awful at that. I'm awful at it. I'm really bad. And I've said before, when I come away from Twitter, I do find myself being like, I don't know, just like, I don't tend to come away from Twitter feeling like I've had a better experience. I don't feel like I've like learnt loads, or more enlightened, or I've seen really good conversations. What I tend to see is a lot of, hashtag fire Vince with very little thought behind it. Or if there is an opinion shared, it'll be something which just doesn't quite add up, or it doesn't really compute with what I'm thinking. And I don't know, I don't ever find it like an insightful thing. I'd much rather see someone explain, how they feel about Vince in like a longer dialogue, or in a TikTok video, or in a YouTube video, or something like that. Maybe it's the character limit as well, Maybe the character limit of Twitter is just not that great, because it doesn't really allow you to go into too much detail. So all you tend to see are very surface things. You don't actually get like some of that more deeper content behind it, some of that deeper justification behind it. So yeah, I suppose the headline is I find Twitter in particular, I don't really go on Facebook much. I find Twitter in particular to be not a place that I think enhances my life. It's not something that I tend to enjoy too much. But as I said, I have to take ownership of that myself, because some of those accounts I see will be fake, will be bots, will be kids, will be people that are new to wrestling, that, just haven't really haven't really grasped it yet, or, don't really quite have all the pieces put together. Maybe they're just copying what other people see. Mental health as well, I mean, that is again something else. Mental health, there'll be people on there that do struggle with mental health and have various different mental health issues, where you might not look to take their opinion on wrestling stuff. You might take that with maybe a little bit more of a pinch of salt, because it's not as maybe thought through as other opinions. I'm not being disrespectful to people with mental health. There's obviously a wide variety of mental health issues, but I'm talking about people that maybe don't have the ability to think through things as much as other people. Like, those people are on social media as well, and rightfully so. They should be. I'm not saying they shouldn't be, but I'm just saying everything's presented as the same, isn't it? You don't know the person behind the tweet. You don't know anything about them. A lot of the times, profile pictures and even the profile names are all completely made up. So it's really hard to know kind of who's talking and what, I just find it's a place that doesn't enrich my life. So that's why I much prefer YouTube. Wrestled Andy said, I feel lucky I grew up in a time where there wasn't an internet, and all I knew was from wrestling magazines and videos. I feel like there could be a great social media. I think if there was a place where there was like a wrestling social media where you had your real, like, either your real name or say your social media name. So like if maybe if you could say what promotions you watch, how long you've watched them for, And like, there could be a bit more information, like maybe the age of the person, or just roughly like, I'm in my 20s, I'm in my 30s, I'm younger than 10. Like, maybe if there was something that says I'm into these promotions, I've watched them for longer than a year or something like that, or I'm a newcomer, and then like it's got your age, and maybe it's got like profile picture. Maybe there could be something, and then maybe each one's got its own space. So if you don't want to see stuff about AEW, you don't subscribe to that space. You just subscribe to the WWE space. If you do want to see stuff about AEW, then you can subscribe to that space as well. So, rather than being bombarded with AEW stuff, if you just don't care about it, well, that lives in its own space. So you don't need to be subjected to that. And like, if you want to look at WWE, you can go to a different area. Maybe there's a few bits like that. I don't know. I feel like there's maybe something there for like a wrestling social media that I think could be a bit healthier, that could be a little bit like, could be better than Twitter. I don't think Twitter is I don't think it's the solution. I don't think it's the right place. I don't think it's got the right setup. I think it's, we could do better. We could do better. And hopefully one day someone does. It's not going to be me, but hopefully someday someone does create like maybe a specific wrestling space. I suppose the great thing about Twitter is that you can jump into, say, a wrestling conversation, but there's other stuff happening. But I feel like there's enough wrestling fans around the world to warrant a standalone wrestling social media, which I think could be really, really cool. Doesn't matter, though. It's not happening. We don't need to dwell on it. I like the idea, as long as you ban Meltzer. Another dirt sheet writer, said Travis. Who will win the women's Money in the Bank? I'm leaning to EO. Defcon Eric said, Daze, you just described wrestling chat rooms, which was on America Online about 30 years ago. I feel a boomer for saying that. Well, yeah, maybe it is along those lines. I feel like I'm sure there's ways that you can modernize like the chat room, if you will. I'm sure that you can use hashtags and ats, and like, you can have accounts and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I suppose a little bit more a longer chat room type line. Yeah. I was never in chat rooms. I don't have like an affection for chat rooms. I don't have the nostalgia for chat rooms. I think that was something like what Wrestle with Andy was just saying. Like when I was growing up, we didn't really have the internet. We got the internet in my house in, I think it was 1999. That's when we got the internet for the first time. And to be honest, you don't know where you're going. I didn't know where I was going. Like, to go to Napster, or like to go to like the BBC website, right? And it's all super slow, and loading a picture takes forever, and there's not really much to it. I certainly wasn't going to wrestling chat rooms. To be honest, back in 99, you wouldn't sit on the computer all day, or I wouldn't. You'd probably go on it for an hour, because I didn't really know where to go or what to do. There wasn't really much to do. Like, there was, if you was more into that, there would have been chat rooms and stuff, but I didn't have the knowledge of that. I'd look on a website and be like, oh, wow, this is the future. Or I'd like download a picture that line by line would like load up, and you'd be sat there waiting for ages. To be honest, you'd much rather be doing something else than waiting for this picture to load. It just wasn't worth it in 99 with dial-up. So I was never in those types of chat rooms. I think really by the time I was like seriously doing stuff online, it was probably like 2005, 2006. I got a laptop around that time, and because I'd started work, I'd worked in an entertainment store. So I'd started work. So I was working, coming home, having dinner, watching TV, going to bed, right? I was not on the computer. I was not online. To play games, I had a PlayStation. I didn't play PC games. there was no reason for me to need to go onto the computer. But I got a laptop, and I don't really even know why. I got the laptop. It was one of those where I think like it was kind of the thing. People were getting laptops. So I got like a cheap little laptop thing, and that's when I started to go on a little bit more. But even then, I mean, the internet had obviously evolved a lot since 99 by that point, and speeds had gotten better and everything. But even then, I still wasn't going into chat rooms. So I don't really have a nostalgia for that. But I think where we are now is, I think we can do better than where we are with social media and everything. I came up with a game FAQ PWB. It got so bad that Game Facts had to make restrictions as to who could join it based on how long you've been a user. I still hate you, Saxon. There might be something in that. There's probably a lot of lessons we can learn from chat rooms and from spaces like that as we move forwards. I don't know. Be interesting to see what's where we are in, say, 10 years' time. I know, actually, Facebook have been talking about doing their own text. They came out. I don't know if you saw this news. I wasn't expecting to have this conversation, but why not? Facebook have come out and said they think Twitter has failed, and they think that there is a better way of doing a text-based social media. And Mark Zuckerberg says that he thinks Elon agrees, hence why Elon bought Twitter and has now started to change a few things. So it'll be quite interesting to see what Facebook come up with. There is like a secret social media that they're working on. You would think that Facebook would be their social media, but there is a more text-based thing that they're working on. I don't know what it's called. And I just know that Mark Zuckerberg was talking about it. That could be kind of interesting. I just want something, I think, that's just got a little bit more to it, that's got a bit more depth to it, that you can understand the person behind the post a little bit better. There's a lot of anonymity. Is that the word? Anonymity. There's a lot of anonymity, which I think can cause problems on social media. There's a lot of people that feel pretty brave about the things that they post because they know there won't be any like repercussions or comebacks, because there's a lot of obviously fake accounts, people with multiple accounts and all that kind of stuff. I wonder if there's a way of like cleaning some of that up as well. Don't know. We're not going to solve it here, but yeah, you know, it's a wider conversation, and one that actually I don't think we've really had before. So quite happy to touch on it. Right. I was playing online in 99, Unreal Tournament, 56k dial-up. I was 10. It was good times, says Alex. Should Io Shirai win Money in the Bank? Io Sky. Should she? I don't think she should. I think she could, and I think she's a favourite. I don't think she should. I have no problem with her winning. I have no problem with Trish winning. I actually don't know if I've got a problem with any of the women winning. I don't. I think if Zoe Stark was to win, that would be a bit of a head scratcher because she's brand new. But equally, I'd be like, okay, wasn't expecting. They would catch me off. I like Zoe, and it would really catch me off guard. So I'd be like, okay, right, yeah, this is interesting, and I wouldn't hate it. If Zelina won, I wouldn't hate it. She's in LWO. If you're going to do something, now would feel like the time to do it. And what with Ray being in that group as well, they feel quite credible. They feel like they could be more credible. And actually giving Zelina Money in the Bank might be a way towards getting even more credible. And as we said, Santos is in the guys. No one's talking about Santos winning the guys. If Santos won the guys and Zelina won the women's, that'd be huge for the LWO. Absolutely huge. And I know it wouldn't be everyone's pick. I don't know that people would be like massively passionately against it, though. I don't think people dislike the LWO. I just think a lot of people maybe have made their minds up they'd rather see Io Sky get backed rather than, say, Zelina Vega. But I can't say I'd be really passionate against any of those women winning it. So Io Sky, should she win it? She can win it. I've got her as winning it, but I don't mind if Trish got it, or if Bailey got it, or if maybe even Zelina got it, and we told the right story with it. As long as we got the right story planned. But Io is my pick. In regards to the guys, really anyone but Logan is how I feel. Anyone but Logan. I think whoever gets it, if Logan gets it, he's getting it for the wrong reasons. If Logan gets it, he's getting it because he's a social media star. He's not getting it because they see a big, bright future for him. He's not getting it because he's going to dedicate himself to wrestling, right? He's not getting it for those reasons. He's getting it so that he can shout about it on social media. It's nothing but to help them, like, you know, grow the brand, which I don't care about. I don't care. It ain't going to make or break WWE if you put money in the bank on Logan, right? It's not... Logan and WWE are not struggling. They're already one of the biggest social media juggernauts. How often do they brag about their social media numbers, right? We don't need Logan to help, right? We're doing fine. So we don't need it. So we ain't doing it because he is the future, right? We're doing it for, as I say, the wrong reasons. I'd rather do it for the right reasons. I'd rather get behind someone and give them, you know, be it LA Knight, be it Santos, be it Butch, you know, people that are there week in, week out. So other than Logan, I really don't mind who wins out of either. Really don't mind. I'd be great. I'd be happy if it was Shinsuke. Be happy if it was Damian Priest. Be happy. I'm all right with it being Santos. So I'm pretty chilled. What's quite nice is because I'm chilled about it, I'm looking forward to seeing which way they go. If it's Logan, I mean, I won't cry about it. Mentally, I am... Logan's my pick. I think they do go Logan. So I've accepted it. I know why they'll do it. I've accepted that it could happen. And so I'm all right, you know. I mean, I sort of feel like if it happens and people are going to have these like big negative reactions to it, I don't know. Didn't you think it could happen? Like, I don't know. I'm prepared. It can happen. I'm warning you. If you're really sat there going, I hope it doesn't, it could, right? Have a word with yourself. Accept it. Yeah, there'll be a fair few people that will want it to happen, actually. There's a lot of Logan fans out there. So it'll please someone. I actually don't know how the London crowd will react, to be honest. I don't know how they'll feel about it. I don't know if it'll be positive or negative, or I don't know. I feel like a lot of the crowds react the same way because crowds influence crowds. And so I think he will get booed. I think he'll get booed, but I'm not sure. Daze, NXT popped a big number. This episode is going to be vital to put on a strong show because HBK could botch and put on a bunch of no-names, and that'll turn off the casuals, said Big Time Baxter. It's tricky in it because like this is like a pay-per-view tonight. If you are joining us, this is a big show. We've got the women's title, the NXT title, the tag titles. In fact, I think we've got every title, haven't we? Is there any title that is not being defended here? I think all the belts are being defended. It is like a pay-per-view tonight. So I don't know. I mean, like, it's a balancing act, isn't it? It's a fine line. I understand that you've got to put the stars on to get the casuals, but equally it is also developmental, isn't it? So it's a tricky little balancing act. It is a tricky balancing act. It's not many, I mean, you got Baron Corbin, but outside of Baron Corbin, there's not really any names tonight. There's certainly no Seth. So here's Thea Hale, and looks like we're going to be starting with the women's match. That's a bit of a shame that she's not in her singlet. I thought she looked awesome in that singlet last week. I thought it really suited her. I thought she looked really, really good. Thea Hale. against Tiffany Stratton. KSI appearing to help Logan wouldn't surprise me, says Wrestling with Andy. Well, actually, I mean, I feel like KSI would get a really good reaction from the crowds, which is really weird, isn't it? I mean, they boo Logan. I don't know that they would boo KSI. I really don't know. I really don't know. You've got a few things at play, haven't you? I mean, KSI is English, so the fact that, like, he's one of the biggest English YouTubers, might not get booed as a result. He might not get booed. Plus, I wonder if there's going to be a lot of kids that go because they want to see Logan. You know, again, you have to factor that in, the age of the crowd. Got to think the older demographic have got no time for Logan. The younger demographic probably has more time for Logan. So I really don't know. I'm very. That'll be one of the interesting things to see how the crowd react. Okay, Tiffany is making her way down, and Thea looking very focused. Dead Man Talking, shout out to you. What if Duke costs Thea the title, says James. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. That's interesting. Daze, how are you doing? Always present in the streams. Did you see the ratings for Collision? I remember you talk about the ratings and it dropped. Taha, shout out to you. Yeah, we spoke about it earlier, but I was saying that I think the number is okay. I can't say it's a disaster because what was in that spot before did apparently 300, 400,000. So Collision doing nearly 600,000 makes you go, okay, that seems okay. That seems okay. The only thing I would say is, yes, it's a big drop. But I think we was expecting a big drop. I was expecting a big drop. I thought it would go to the 600 and some thousand, maybe like 680, 700. I thought it would go to maybe somewhere like that. 650 maybe. For it to go to 595, I think it was, it is a big drop. But it, again, you know, in context, what was there before was doing 300, 400,000. And I think it was pointed out that in the key demo, it was still like the number one show on cable. So again, in context, you go, it's not all L's. There are some dubs in there for them. It's from Thea here. But we are seeing some great development from her. Looking for some arm drags. We've got Charlie Dempsey and Drew Gulak at ringsides. Thea going over the top. Yeah, that was nice. Another arm drag drop kick. Tiffany goes to the outside. Elliot, shout out to you, said, I don't think Logan wins. I think he's in there for a social media moment or spot with Ricochet lead into a match at SummerSlam, which would be a banger. Clothesline, down goes Thea. I agree in the sense of I could see Logan Ricochet at SummerSlam. I think that makes sense. I don't know, though, that it means that Logan doesn't win it, because it could be that he gets the briefcase and at SummerSlam we're still going to need an opponent for him. So he could win it and then still do the match with Ricochet. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I hope he doesn't get it. I hope it does go to someone else. But there is still a way that they could unfortunately do both of those things. Tiffany's got her foot on the rope. Thea she's doing well, man. She's doing well. Tiffany's bumping all over the place for her. Tiffany's doing a lot of selling in this. Back in the ring, so Thea Hale going in the Thea getting over to the ropes. Tiffany is being tested. Duke having a words. Commercial break. So Thea definitely being given some opportunity to show what she can do. And I mean, some of her early matches were not brilliant, as you would imagine. I mean, to be honest, they really don't wait around too much with some of these. I mean, I think from the moment she signed to when she actually started being used on TV, it really, there wasn't much time. Like, we're seeing that with the twins at the moment. They got signed not that long ago. And, boom. Yeah, so she's doing good. Big Time said 411 watching the stream. That is a good indicator in the interest of Gold Rush. Yes. Last week, there was a good few people that joined us. I think that NXT is on a bit of a run at the moment. I think I think Seth being on the show last week has set up a lot for this week. Hopefully, yes, they can retain those people. I would love to see NXT getting bigger numbers. I would absolutely love, if this is going to be like a third brand, which is, something they're hoping that it can become. Brilliant. I'm here for it. The only thing I would say is, well, that means that I think we might need a new developmental. I mean, you can make NXT a third brand. And I think there's room to do that, but you might then need to get a new developmental. I mean, NXT Level Up might have to do some, more work, basically. Because you have got people like those twins that, it is very difficult to introduce new people into a brand and get people to care about them, and if you're going to do it, they need to be good, but people obviously are just starting out. It's really hard. You've got every few months you got this new class that comes in, and a lot of the people that come in are athletes that have never wrestled before. They don't tend to wait around too much with them. Obviously, they get them to a certain standard. They spend a few months with them before they put them on TV, but it's not like they just stick around in the shadows for a year learning how to wrestle. This day and age, they tend to move quite quick with getting them onto TV. And it's a little bit sink or swim, to be honest. And we saw that with Parker Boudreaux, who got released because apparently he just wasn't picking it up quick enough. Now there's this 3-month probation. When you sign with NXT, they make a call on you after 3 months as to whether you're worth investing in or not, keeping around or not. And that's something new that came in. So if this is going to be a third brand, it's going to be so hard to keep the casuals engaged and introduce these people that have got no wrestling background, and that you're going to have to try and make interesting and compelling and engaging. And it's going to be really difficult. That's why you might need another developmental that really brings the people along there. And then once they're at a certain standard, a good standard where they can hold their own, then you bring them into NXT, which isn't quite how we do it at the moment. We bring people in that just sort of hang around in groups, like the twins are right now, or like Ava did. She came in with Schism, and we've just been working with her behind the scenes, keeping her on TV, doing promos. And then as soon as she's getting better, then we'll start to use her for matches. Just like Thea. Thea came in. She was in with Chase U. Had a few matches. Didn't look brilliant. But now, we're at the point where we're like, okay, let's try her in a championship match. She's shouting away at the crowd as she's stomping away on them. Chase U. Interacting with the fans, shaking the ropes, looking to springboard senton onto Tiffany. Tiffany's done a lot of selling in this match. She really has been putting Thea over. Thea is all over Tiffany. Thea jumping up, trying to get a Kimura, but Tiffany slams Thea down. Tiffany coming over, grabbing Thea. Looking to power bomb her. No, roll up. Trying to grab the arm. Tiffany is down. Thea is trying to get this Kimura on. Tiffany trying to get over to the ropes. Charlie Dempsey moving the rope out the way. Oh, there's a lot of arguing and bickering. Oh, now she's got it. Middle of the ring. Tiffany's tapping. Tiffany is tapping. But, Drew Gulak distracting. Roll up. 1, 2, 3. Oh, God. So they gave Thea a lot of offense in there. He made Tiffany tap with a Kimura in the middle of the ring. But it was Drew Gulak that was arguing with the referee. He wasn't doing it seemingly on purpose. He was just arguing with the ref. So, Tiffany taps. But ref distracted. Roll up. Hey. Means that Tiffany retains. She stays at the tiffy top. She's at the tiffy top, baby. They're actually berating Thea for getting pinned. Charlie Dempsey and Drew Gulak have started to attack Duke Hudson. We need Mr. Chase. We need Mr. Chase. Where are you? Mr. Chase. Big boot by Drew Gulak. Thea Hale is screaming. Mr. Chase! Big boot by Andre Chase. Down goes Gulak. Chase against the ropes. Duck underneath. Double clothesline. Mr. Chase. Mr. Chase. Chase you. Chase you. Chase you. Chase you. Chase you. Chase you. I'd love to see these two as tag champs. I also think Duke Hudson's so overlooked. He's been in Chase U for ages. He was someone that we really thought was going to be like NXT champ, really go on to do some stuff. I like him, really like him in Chase U. But he has sort of been kind of pushed to the side and forgotten about a little bit. You should have stayed gone, said Drew Gulak. So, Gulak and Dempsey berate Thea and attack Duke. Mr. Chase returns. It's Chase. You should have stayed gone. I don't like this. The heat should be on Tiff, not on Drew Gulak, says Michael. Well, I think it's just the story, to be honest, buds. I think Tiffany's not really the focus here. I think they just used this match as a way of bringing Andre Chase back and setting up what I would imagine is going to be a tag match. Daze just asking about Wrestling Shop. Do you know if they'll sell AEW figures? I don't believe they will. I don't believe they will. They were debating as to whether to bring them or not. But hang on, I'll answer it in a sec. But my answer is I don't think they are. I'm like 99% certain they're not. They said Malik and Malik Blade, Edris and Enofe tonight, and then we'll deal with Stacks. Match coming up. Is it next? Yeah, tag match next. So it's going to be Edris, Enofe, and Malik Blades taking on Gallus. Enofe and Blade versus Gallus. Yeah, so to go back to that question, I don't believe they are. I was talking to Wrestling Shop about this, if they were going to bring AEW figures. And they were like, we were thinking about it, but we have heard that WWE are thinking of coming down to Wrestling Shop Live. Like, not the wrestlers, but like the executives. Not Vince, but, you know, the people that, like, the higher-ups that are based in the UK office. And, of course, there's going to be higher-ups that come over for Money in the Bank as well. So, not Vince, not Triple H, but, like, you know, the people that work behind the scenes, the, you know, executive people, various departments. So, they're potentially coming down. They know that Mattel is a big deal. I mean, you can imagine Mattel is a big relationship. So the fact that the lead designer, Bill, is going to be in at this place, but not only that, D'Lo Brown is going to be there as well, who's obviously signed under a Legends thing. And I think they're coming over because, I don't know, I mean, like, hopefully if WWE do take a look at it, they'll be impressed with, like, the execution, and they'll be impressed with, like, how many people have rocked up and just the vibe, you know? I mean, you never know what that could lead to. You never know if they might get inspiration from it to then do some pop-up shops or do some more stuff here in the UK. They're constantly looking at, like, you know, things to do. For example, Wrestling Shop, they actually sent in I don't know if I should say this, but I'm going to say it. They sent in a plan to do Wrestling Shop Live, and they actually spoke to WWE about it because they wanted to get a wrestler. And so they wrote it all on like a business plan. This is what we want to do. We want to do a shop. We want to get exhibitions. We want to get like ring-worn gear that we can put and show on like in cases. We want to get a wrestler there. We've got, you know, YouTuber coming, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. And they submitted this plan. And then what WWE did is they did their own sort of wrestling shop at a convention in the UK, and they did pretty much everything that was on this plan that Wrestling Shop had submitted. And even the people at WWE were not too shy about admitting that there was some inspiration taken, shall we say, by this business plan that had been proposed. And so they ended up doing, WWE did their own kind of little thing at this convention. You might remember it. It was like Undertaker's graveyard. They actually got like an Undertaker set, and you could like pose, and they got some of the merch, and there was a shop that was there, and there was like all this stuff it was all detailed on this Wrestling Shop business plan. And apparently I heard that was not something they were thinking of doing. They saw this business plan, and all of a sudden WWE do this thing. So WWE definitely take inspiration from some of these events that go down. So for that reason, I think the decision has been made to keep it just WWE. Who knows kind of where, like, you know, that could lead, or what it could mean for wrestling. Wrestling Shop could be like the official, you know, pop-up shop for WWE. I don't know. But I think it was just felt that, like, yeah, maybe let's not have AEW stuff in this pop-up shop. Let's just go with WWE. Let's tie it in with Money in the Bank. So they were talking to me about this, telling me about all this. Because I normally go for like a drink with them once I pop to their warehouse. Normally go for like a drink after. And they were just like telling me about these bits. So sometimes you can find out some really interesting stuff. So I don't know if I was meant to ever say that, but I don't think there's anything bad there. I think it's really cool. I think it's really cool that like Wrestling Shop are doing this off their own back and actually influencing some of the stuff that you see WWE do in this country, like that exhibition. You know, I think that's really cool. Right, we've got Dana. Are they doing an exclusive Daze figure? Apparently the demand was so overwhelming, they decided to not pursue it. just because they're worried about a plastics shortage. It's fair play, isn't it? Okay. I don't know this woman. It's Dana. What you did out there was really inspiring. You never give up on anything. I'm happy you're here. Colony Jordan. What's her name? Colony Jordan. Colony? What was her name? I think she said Colony. I'll have to double check that. Colony Jordan. She seems pretty cool. She seems a bit like a taller Caden Carter. We're seeing last week with Joe Coffey being kidnapped by Stacks. Hey. It's hard to get AEW figures over in Ireland because they don't sell them in Smith's. I thought there might be a good chance they sell them there. They sell them online at their thing. I mean, I don't know if you saw the Toy Hunt video. I mean, it's just a flipping wall of AEW figures. I mean, they've got so many. They've got loads. I mean, I don't know what you'd be looking for, but the range that they have and they do have in stock is, it was amazing. So yeah, have a look on their website because they are based in London. So I can't imagine that the postage costs would be that bad, to be honest. It might even be free postage. I don't know. But getting stuff from America, difficult. And I think the Smiths range has declined. I know that they gave AEW quite a bit of space, but I don't think they give it as much room now. I was talking to him actually about AEW figures. We are underway with this match. I was talking to him about AEW figures, and they were saying that there was a big problem because apparently they just flooded the market. They put too many in the market, and it was a bit oversaturated. So they were talking about like the AEW figure sales. They said they were great for like the first series, second series, but they just kept pumping out more and more figures, and it just got a little bit too much. And so like there's been a bit of a reset, and I mean that reset might have involved Smiths really downscaling their range. Because they just weren't shifting. Like they weren't shifting the older stuff because newer stuff was coming in before they'd sold the older stuff. They went too quick, too fast, too heavy. Just they've done way too much. So hopefully, like, if you are an AEW figure collector, I'm sure it's been quite exciting, but I'd imagine it's been quite a challenge as well to kind of keep up with all the releases. It can feel that way with the Mattel stuff as well, actually. I think they do too much. I think everyone's got to the point now where, most people aren't buying everything anymore. Now you're having to be very selective with what you get when it comes to the figures. So same with me as well. I mean, it's become quite daunting, which sounds like a weird word to use for collecting wrestling figures. It has become quite daunting. There's a lot there's just a lot. All of a sudden, it's not really achievable to get everything now unless you like got serious disposable income. Wolfgang is in there. Is that Enofe? Gets caught. His ring gear reminds me of something like a bit Coco Beware-ish. Goes to the outsides. Enofe is back in the ring. So Enofe is in the ring. We got Blade on the outside. We got Mark Coffey in the ring as well. I must admit, I don't know loads about Blade and Enofe. They're not really people we see on a regular basis. I remember they like hung out with like Odyssey Jones for a little while. Blade coming in. Nice headlock takeover by Blade on Mark Coffey. Coming up, we've got the Heritage Cup match between Nathan Frazer and Dragon Lee. Obviously, we've got that big main event as well. Starting off with 2 championship matches, though. Half an hour gone already. Kick coming in. Is it true, Daze and Linda figures sold out? Yeah, it was a battle pack. You could get both figures and a bed accessory. And apparently it's one of the hottest selling figure sets of any figure line ever. Makes sense though, doesn't it? I mean, I bought 10,000, so. Blade with a big splash on Coffee. It's cheaper to buy a 3D printer and just scan your own figures, says Deadman Talking. Do you know what? I would totally do that. I would totally Los Lotharios watching on. When I was a kid, and I don't know if you lot did this when you was young, but when I was a kid, I spent a weekend, probably a few actually, getting some cards and drawing out all of the wrestlers that I knew, right? Not just ones in wrestling then, but like, you know, older wrestlers as well. Anyone I could remember and I could draw. So I drew them out about that big. And then I would, fold the bottom, cut the middle, just fold it over to make a little, so they would stand. And then I would make a ring, just, you know, a little 2D thing. You know, you get a big bit of card and you just draw all the people and you draw the ring in it. And then I would, you know, I'd be able to make my own, I think I made my own entrance stage as well. I can't remember. I think I would have. And amazing. I mean, I had the Hasbro figures. The problem with the Hasbro figures was that, you know, at any one point, you only had a certain number, right? You might not have all of them. I mean, back then, there was no eBay, there was no internet. The only place you was getting figures from was whatever they had in the shop, which was always, you know, I don't know, 4 or 5 different figures, right? It was never like now. It was always like, you know, a certain number. Certainly where I was, maybe if you like lived in a city and you had a big Toys R Us. But I didn't have that. I lived in a town and we had like a very small shop that only had a certain range. Certainly if there was a Toys R Us, I'm sure there was more. But for me, I didn't have access to that. And so 4 or 5 figures in the town up the road. I probably had them all anyway. And so, yeah, I mean, that's how I used to do it. That's, you know, that would be my collection. Would be making these and then doing those kinds of matches and blah, 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 you know, having a great time. I mean, amazing. Wonderful memories. But in this day and age, yeah, you probably could do something more adventurous than that. You know, that probably wouldn't cut it in this day and age. To be honest, in this day and age, kids probably don't think about that because they just, you know, have the game, don't they? Again, go back to when I was a kid. The video game would have like, I don't know, 8 wrestlers in it. Like that was the roster. Like maybe 20 or something. I seem to remember the Royal Rumble game only had 20 men in the roster. So that you couldn't even do a 30-man Royal Rumble. I'm pretty sure the roster was only 20 people because the flipping cartridge size was like 1 megabyte or so, you know? It was a different time. But yeah, you probably could get a lot more exciting now. Hasbro figs I wish I had was Taker, Hogan, Macho Man Warrior. I think the Bushwhackers too, said James. Well, I was very spoiled and I managed to get, I think, pretty much all of them. The one that I always wanted was Dusty Rhodes. And I remember talking to a friend and like them telling me like, you just can't get it. Yeah, I've never seen it. He's out there. He's, you know, he was on the back of the packaging, but no one had ever seen him. And so, you know, it gets built up about how rare he is. I actually don't know the truth on that. That's something that I've always meant to look into. How rare is the Dusty Rhodes Hasbro, and why was that such a thing when I was a kid? Why was it that everyone used to talk about, like, oh yeah, that's the figure, you know? No one used to talk about the Kamala with was it the star on his belly? I can't remember if it's the star or the moon, but there was only 20 of those made, or 25. No one knew about that. Didn't know about that. So was never aware of that until much later. But everyone, all my friends that were into wrestling, everyone knew the Dusty Rhodes figure you couldn't get. And I remember actually going back about 20, 25 years ago, there was a shop in Stourbridge that opened up by a wrestling fan. I'd love to know who they were, because I'd interview them. I'd get them on the channel in a flash, man. Because I would love to hear some of their stories. But they actually had a shop in Stourbridge, just a little shop, little unit. And all on the walls, from the bottom to the top, covered, was Hasbro figures packaged. Hasbro packaged figures. Everyone, multiples, tag teams, pretty much everything. I didn't see a Dusty Rhodes in packaging, but they did have a loose Dusty Rhodes behind the counter, and it was proper, you know, like The Simpsons when they go into comic book guy and he like gets out like a rare comic, and they're like, it was just like that. And they had a loose Dusty Rhodes behind the counter, and I remember just going in multiple times just to look at it. I wasn't even brave enough to ask him if I could hold it or if he could take it down. I would just literally just my precious. I'd just literally stare at the counter. It existed and it was there and I could see it. And I think the price on it was like, I seem to recall, like £395, something like that. All the ones in boxes were like, I think each figure was like £25, which was probably a fair price. And it's probably still a fair price. It was very expensive then, though. I mean, you just couldn't figure out why they were charging so much. But as I said, now you'd probably go, yeah, that's fair. And as a result, I bought a couple. I still have them. I went from that shop. I bought some. They haven't aged very well, though. I probably could have looked after them better, to be honest. I'll try and grab one and show you, actually. Clothesline by Enofe. We are still underway with this. Hard to believe there was a time you were lucky if you got one woman in a video game roster. Yeah, true. True, there was none when I was growing up. Shot coming in by Enofe. Clothesline, duck underneath. Kick to the midsection. Enofe again going... Oh, botched. High risk, no rewards. Enofe went big. He jumped on the back of Coffee. Tried to jump off. Ended up losing his foot in. Disappointing. 1, 2, kick out. It's one of them, man. You know, he went for summer, he botched it. Yeah, that momentum's lost. They're trying to get it back. Oh, I just saw the replay. So, yeah, even Booker's like, man, the momentum's lost. It's funny, he said the momentum's lost as they're still doing well. Blade comes crashing down. You know that's going to be one that they're going to talk about once this finishes. Enofe, cover. Wolfgang makes the save. Botch by Enofe. Big shots coming in, and we've got Wolfgang tied in the ropes. Oh, man, you don't see the tied in the rope spot that often. Tied in the ropes like Andre the Giant. Did you ever do a Forbidden Door with Hasbros and Galoobs? Stacks! Oh, Stacks, you flipping idiot. He grabs Enofe, chucks him in the ring. Yeah, hang on, what is going on? I thought he was chucking Enofe into the ring, like, go on, you can still get them, but he's just sort of fed them to Gallus. Gallus retained. The commentary team are confused. I'm confused. Everyone's confused. We're all in shock. I don't think this is very clear as to what's happening right now. So I don't know if he's joined up with Gallus or why he would join up with Gallus, or I don't know. So we are a family brought together not by blood, but by roots of a tree. Shut up. The uncertainty in our paths is apparent and the tension is too much to ignore. As a family, it's time to talk. I'm calling a Schism family meeting next week. Schism family meeting next week. Stacks hits Enofe and throws him in ring. Gallus win. Confusion reigns. And then a tweet by Ava. Ava tweet. Ashton said, has only been 14. It's amazing to hear these stories. Oh, Ashton, shout out to you. Oh, yeah. I mean, it is weird, I suppose, because it is just like a different world, isn't it? Hang on. Give me a sec. These are actually from that shop. So you can see they've not aged very well. And actually, it's a shame. The backing is green. And because of the green screen, it's not going to show very well. But if I tilt it, you can sort of see that it's green. So the packaging, the bit that's see-through is all green, of course. So that is Bart Gunn. Bart Gunn. I do actually have Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn that's on AEW. There he is when he was in the Smoking Guns. Look at his picture. So this is still like in the packaging, but as I said, like, and that's the back. I mean, so you would go into a shop, and I'm sure many of you have seen the retro figures. It's a shame that it's the green one, isn't it? That's not showing very well. But again, if I tilt it, you can sort of see what it looks like. But so you'd go in the shop, and these would just be obviously hanging up. And then as a kid, you would look at the back and there was your checklist. So you could see what had been out because there wasn't really a way of knowing what had been and what was coming. So this tells you, look, you know, Ludwig Borger, the Smoking Guns, 123 Kid, Adam Bomb, and The Ring. So that's what was in this series. So you knew kind of what was out there right now. And then if you wanted to know what had already been out, there was the checklist at the bottom. You can see, I mean, this is how crazy it is. If you think about how many Mattel figures come out compared to how many Hasbros we had in the early 90s. I mean, that was your checklist right there. That was your checklist to know what had come out and what to get. That was, I mean, to my knowledge, that was everything. So there was like some multiples of these. There was like, you know, they did a few Hogans, of course. And there was a few wrestlers that weren't on that checklist because obviously these came out at a certain time, so that wasn't the full finalized list. But it was a good guide, so you knew what to get. So yeah, I mean, to be honest, so I bought them and. I just loved the fact that they were still in their packaging because by the time I got them, we were well into Jack's figures, and I was a little bit older, so I wasn't looking to play with them at that point. So I was just quite happy to leave them in the packaging. So they just went in a suitcase in the loft. That was it, and they've just lived there ever since. So hence they've got a little knocked around as you know that suitcase has been moved and things dropped on it and whatever. So I definitely could have looked after them a bit better. But it's still a pretty cool thing to have. I don't know that the smoking guns are ones. I mean, you'd probably want a Undertaker or an Andre or something like that. To be honest, I don't know why I didn't end up getting an Andre or whatever. I think I'd already got an Andre. I wasn't buying to collect. I wasn't buying for investment purposes. I was young, you know. Those are some of the worst t-shirts I've ever seen. We've got Metaphor shirts and they look awful. Metaphor. Mackenzie. Clearly he's not emotionally ready to talk about it. These Metaphor shirts are awful. Ronda, Shayna, that could be your future. Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson are calling out Ronda and Shayna. We're the best in the game and we're united as one. I love Noam. Look how sad he is. Kenzie, you suck. Noam's... Yeah, shut up, Mackenzie. He's so sad. He's so sad. Oh, are we doing the Schism family thing now? I thought this was next week. Okay, so it is going to be a Schism family meeting. Let's do that in the name of family. You spoke about how you was going to change our lives, but we're not seeing it. Without you, we excelled. With you, we are losing. We're starting to lose trust in you. It's okay, Ava. Thank you for your honesty. Before you met me, you couldn't have said the things you said. Oh, there's so much we could be doing with Joe Gacy. So much. You was two lost souls that I rescued from obscurity. We were in a bad place when we met you. We were lost. You showed us a new way. But recently, we've seen some cracks. We're starting to realize who we really are. Ava's getting a bit upset here. It's not going to plan, is it, love? When I brought you in, did you fully commit? Or was there hesitation? Well, yeah, there was hesitation. You flipping dressed them up as druids and called them the Dyad. Of course there was hesitation. We are different. So Gacy is saying that he has improved the dyads. Here's Diamond Mine. Three brothers, Ivy Nile. You guys walk slow, you talk slow. This has got nothing to do with you. So, Diamond Mine, interfere. If you don't want to be here, we don't want you here. What is your problem? So your group is cancerous, says Julius. So where are we going? Smile on the face of Ivy. If it's another match you'll want, and it's another match you'll get. Creed, Dyad next week. Okay. This time, loser leaves NXT. Oh, no. No, they're going to go on. Oh, no. Oh, God. Wasn't expecting that. I should have been expecting it. I wasn't expecting it. Flipping loser leaves NXT. Grizzled Young Veterans won out of NXT, but the hope was that by getting him away from Gacy, giving him the Grizzled Young Veteran name back, doing some other bits with them, you know, we could probably keep them around because they're a good team. Creed Brothers to main roster. God, I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I've got a horrible feeling that it's gonna be flipping Dyad that are going. What's this? We're back. We're on the same team. We came to dominate. Nima and Price coming soon. I mean, they're jacked, man. They're jacked. And you know, they feel genuine with what they're saying. I don't feel like I'm watching some flipping scripted fake nonsense like Hit Row. I'm believing these two. They are huge. Okay, we've got the Heritage Cup match coming up. Those guys will get pushed. They're like them. Okay. So Scripps and Axiom were just talking about if they're a tag team or not. It's going to have to be a video. It's going to have to be a video, guys. You knew it was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen. We all knew it was going to happen. We need to talk about the fact that one of these flipping teams is going to leave NXT. Oh, I hope you're right. I hope it is going to be that the creeds go up. I really don't want to see Dyad, Grizzled Young Veterans leave. Really don't want to see them go. Let's have a look. So there we go. I love Gacy in those glasses as well, by the way. I think Gacy in those glasses, I think they really suit him. Huh? Say what? And out of NXT, and this could be scary news if you are a fan of the Grizzled Young Veterans, the Dyad, the two guys on the left. They are a great tag team. They've been in WWE for quite a while as well because they came through NXT UK. Well, they have got a match coming up, and it is going to be against Diamond Mine, against the Creed brothers. And it is loser leaves NXT. Now, the reason as to why this is interesting, and you can see their reaction to this news, the reason as to why this is interesting is because the Dyad, formerly known as Grizzled Young Veterans, they have actually requested their release from WWE. Hadn't heard as to whether it had been granted or not, or if we were still going to see them leave or not. But obviously this heavily teases that is the direction that we're going in. So sadly, it does look and feel like we could be losing the Dyad, the Grizzled Young Veterans. They are a great team. There's no two ways about it. We've absolutely mishandled them. I think the hope was that if we took them out of Schism and actually put them back as being Grizzled Young Veterans, booked them better, gave them a clear idea as to when they might make it to the main roster, like, you know, really sat down and worked with them, we might be able to keep them around. The fact that we're doing this match suggests probably not now. Obviously, the alternative is that they might win and the Creed brothers might leave NXT. Now, if the Creed brothers leave NXT, they'll end up going to the main roster. And the Creed brothers are awesome. These two guys are amazing as well. We've got some great tag teams in NXT. So honestly, if these two lose and go to the main roster is going to be blessed. If these two lose, though, they could go the main roster, but I think it's probably more likely that we'll just be saying goodbye to them. So yeah, look, big news coming out of NXT. One of these teams is leaving NXT. Is it going to be the Creeds? Is it going to be the Dyads? And more importantly, the team that loses, are they leaving WWE altogether? Sadly, they might be. Okay, we've got a little advert for Payback. Put in your thoughts. I'd be interested. If we weren't doing a poll, I'd do another poll right now. But I'd be very interested to know if you think who's going, where are they going, who's going, where are they going? Do you think that we are going to say goodbye to the Dyads? Do you think that we're saying goodbye to the Creeds? Are the Creeds going to get called up? Are the Dyad going to the main roster? I mean, that is an option. It's an option. You know, have they sorted something out and they're going to have the Dyad go up to the main roster? Grizzled Young Veterans go into the Raw or SmackDown? It just feels to me like, because of the news of them wanting their release, it just feels to me that the most likely outcome here is that the Dyad are leaving. Rhea Ripley's here. I'm here to send a message. Next time you boys want to jump into our business, you become our business. Damn. So Rhea has got some words. I love the fact that she's just come down of her own accords. So Rhea warns Carmelo to stay out of Judgment Day business. Could she make her presence felt later? Could she cost Carmelo later? Man, do you know what? This show, there's so many different ways that we can go. Do you think the draft was pointless? Do I think it was pointless? No, I think it was pointless. What I do think is that there's a lot of people that are very passionate, and I can understand it. They're very passionate about drafts being like set in stone. Yeah, if you're on SmackDown, you have to just be on SmackDown. They don't want to see people coming over to Raw. If you're on SmackDown, you're on SmackDown, right? It doesn't bother me. I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered if you're on SmackDown and then you rock up on Raw. It's just not something that affects me. I don't have like strong emotional feelings about it. So I'm all right, to be honest. I think by and large, it just gives you an idea of where you're going to find the superstars. And if they occasionally rock up on the other show, okay, fine. For example, Rhea's just rocked up here to send them a warning. Good. Fine. I ain't got a problem with that. I think it's cool. And as I said, she might end up costing Carmelo his title. So that keeps Carmelo strong. And also might explain as to why he ends up going to Raw to help battle against Judgment Day. Okay, so Dragon Lee against Nathan Frazer. Let's go. Dyad's faces were literally me and my friends to Sasha and Naomi's release, says Riot is Live. Rhea is traveling to the UK. That was pre-recorded, says Max. Could be, but could have been pre-recorded. Surely they worded it that way for a reason. Loser leaves NXT and not WWE. Could be right. Why if the Dyad leave NXT and then grizzled young veteran returns, says Kim. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, I like all these thoughts. My initial reaction. My initial reaction is, oh my God, we're losing grizzled young veterans. But I love some of these thoughts. Days frying up that Farouk, not Nation of Domination, that Space Age silver mask. I bought the mini $1 million belt today. It was a drunk smoke purchase. R.I.P. EC Dub. That's cool. Okay, so Axiom has come out to observe. We are underway with this. We're actually past we're past the halfway point. So, I'm really enjoying this. I feel like we've been watching this for about 15 minutes for me. Heritage Cup match underway. We got Reggie that's come down to have a word with Axiom. Round the back, Nathan Frazer takes Dragon Lee over. Kick out there by Nathan Frazer. Dragon Lee looking for the pin. No fall. It's very fast-paced action, as you would imagine from both of these guys. Oh, dropkick just misses there by Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee went for a dropkick. Nathan Frazer just managed to move out the way. Just moved out the way. We got 15 seconds left of this first round. Okay, end of the rounds. Okay, so Yulisa and Valentina are both in opposite corners. These two tend to tag together. But because this is a friendly match, two baby faces going up against each other, that's why we've got Valentina and Yulisa just both supporting a different person. So it's a friendly exhibition type encounter, this, but the cup is on the line. I like the Heritage Cup. It's obviously British round rules. It's a bit different. Duck underneath. Keep going against the ropes. He's going quick there. Lovely single leg drop kick by Nathan Frazer. Dragon Lee goes down. Dragon Lee over in the corner. Frazer going over to him. Grabbing him. Getting him up. Throwing in a chop. Frazer backing up a little bit. Charging over. Colliding into Dragon Lee. Charging over again. Back elbow by Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee rolling out the way. Goes over, grabs Nathan Frazer. Oh, Dragon Screw. Dragon Screw. That was sick, man. Yeah, he had some whip on that. Roll at 1, 2, 3. Nathan Frazer gets the first pinfall. So Nathan Frazer getting that first pinfall. 1-0. Helen Hart, Arnold Scarland need to be the corner men. Honestly, this is your dream job, innit? Getting to potentially throw in a towel during a match. Bell has sounded. We are back underway. So first fall to Nathan Frazer. He needs one more fall to win this. Sling Blade by Frazer. We are in round number 3. I don't know if Axiom and Scripps are still out there. Are they? No, I think they've gone. Drop kick. Nathan Frazer goes to the outsides. Dragon Lee looking to go against the ropes. He does. He goes over the top. Comes crashing down. Song Lyrics said, missed my super chat. Oh, I'm sorry. Might have been when I was doing the video thing. Video thing. That's a Lana Del Rey song. Video thing. Right, we are at commercial break. Did Thea win the belt, said Dragon Slayer. She did not. She did not. Because she sucks. She doesn't. I really like her, actually. Song lyric, I can't see it, but what did it say? Don't super chat it, just type it. I will read it. Are you doing AEW this week because you're in London? Yeah, good point. No, I'm in London. I was not planning to go to London tomorrow. I was meant to go down Thursday morning, but they have very kindly booked like a hotel for me for a couple of nights. My plan was to actually only be there Thursday night. So I was going to go down like first train on Thursday, go straight to the shop, do Wrestling Shop Live, something to eat, go back to the hotel, do Wrestling Shop Live on the Friday, jump on the train, come back, blah, 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 blah. But they've said like, do you know what? We'll just book you like in for a hotel on Wednesday night as well. That way, you know, you can come down and like you haven't got a race down Thursday morning. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, like, that does make sense, actually, doesn't it? That does make sense because you know what it's like. You know what the trains are like. It is going to be a bit of a nightmare to go down on Thursday morning. So yeah. Yeah. The only thing I was wondering is, could I maybe do it from like the hotel room? But to be honest, I mean, do I want to be up till like 3 a.m. if I'm going to be at Wrestling Shop Live for the full day next day? So yeah, I think we might be losing AEW tomorrow, which was not the plan until about 24 hours ago when I found out that there's a hotel room for me in London tomorrow night. So yeah. And SmackDown, I must admit, missing AEW, I can live. I'm really disappointed about SmackDown. I am debating whether to try and get into a hotel on Friday night to see if I could stream. But the problem is, I mean, I'm still going to be at the shop. And I just don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do. I'm meant to be coming back Friday night. But the only reason I was coming back was so that I could be here to do SmackDown. And SmackDown's at a different time. So now I'm thinking, like, you see, what I could do, and I would do it, is I could stay at the shop and live stream from the shop SmackDown. I'd do that. Because I'm sure if I was streaming it and I occasionally had to step away to say hello to people or whatever, I'm sure people would understand. It's better than not having a stream at all. But the shop closes at 9. So I'd be able to do an hour. So even then, like, I'd do an hour, and then I don't know what I'd do the second hour. And I'd still have to get myself in a hotel. It's a flipping nightmare. Honestly, I tried so hard to get this to work. I tried so hard so it wouldn't... The only reason I'm there for Thursday, Friday is so it doesn't interrupt with streams. The reason I'm not there, like, tomorrow is because I was doing the AEW stream. The reason I'm not there Saturday is so I can do the Money in the Bank stream. The reason I was coming back on Friday night was so I could do the SmackDown stream. I've purposely done this so it does not mess with the streams. And, well, it's messed with the streams, isn't it? Right, we are back from commercial break. So, yeah, it's not gone well, James. That's the bottom line. Because Wrestling Daze says so. Song lyrics said, grizzled young veterans are on the 15th of October will become free agents again. Dragon Lee evens the score. We've just come back from commercial break and Dragon Lee has managed to get a pinfall. So Nathan Frazer missed after coming off the ropes, got booted in the head. And it resulted in him losing that fall. So yeah, song lyrics. I don't quite know what to do with that information, because if they're free agents in October, then is it just a case that WWE have said, don't worry about it, like, we'll just end it early? Would it be that they're just wrapping them up early? Or is it that they've re-signed and they're going to the main... I don't know. It doesn't really change anything for me. I don't know what to do with that. I have no idea what to expect next week. I mean, to be honest, I sort of hope it stays that way as well. I mean, grizzled young veterans could lose and then go to the main roster. They could lose and leave WWE. Creed brothers could lose and go to the main roster. I think the only option that's not happening is Creed brothers lose and leave WWE. That's the only one that I can't see happening. Everything else seems to be on the table. So, I don't know, man. It's a really interesting match. This is an interesting match. Crowd are really into it. Obviously, 1-1. We're in round 5. Can't remember how many rounds there are. There might be like 6 rounds. We got Nathan Frazer climbing up. Dragon Lee is in the corner. Frazer looking for a superplex. ducks, lands on his feet, backs up, charges over, jumps up. Looking for a superplex, gets it. Oh, Dragon Lee reverses. Driver. 1, 2. Shoulder up. Crowd are really into this. God! Booker's into it as well. Booker's having a great time. Oh my God. This is awesome. Champ breaking out on NXT. Nathan Frazer against Dragon Lee. 1-1 with a minute to go in round number 5. I think this is so good. I think the rounds just work so well. It's a good addition. It's somewhat different. Shots coming in. Both guys getting up to their feet. You would think that stopping the action every 5 minutes would really hurt the flow of the match. But I mean, it just doesn't. Dragon Lee just rolls up Nathan Frazer out of nowhere. Duck underneath. Oh my God, that roll up is sick. That roll up by Nathan Frazer is sick. Lands on his feet, picks up Nathan Frazer. It's a bit sloppy, but why did the ref not count that? Ref would not count the 3 there. He does count it there. So Nathan Frazer gets it, but there's a bit of confusion, I think, as to why he didn't count the... I know they're told you've got to count the shoulders. There was 1 second left. One, two. I don't know why the ref did. I really don't know why the ref didn't count the 3. I can only imagine he didn't. I don't get why he didn't count the 3. 1, 2, and then he was like, no, I can't count the 3. But looking at the replay, he doesn't get his shoulders up. Is that a ref botch? I don't know what the ref did. I don't know what the ref was doing. It's like the referee isn't sure that the shoulders are down. It's like 1, 2. I can't count. I can't see, so I can't count the 3. There was 1 second left on the clock, but to be honest, if it had ended a draw, he would have kept the Heritage Cup anyway, wouldn't he? So they're saying he had a second left, he just managed to snatch, retain. But I mean, it would have been a draw, and he would have retained anyway. I got a bit of confusion about how that ended. Just seeing some footage of Raw Underground. Braun and Bobby and Kevin and Shayna. This video package makes it look really cool. Raw Underground on the way. The ref forgot the script. Yeah, it was a botch. Kappa said, we're eating good tonight, mate. I think we are, I think we are eating good. I cannot believe we've an hour and 20 minutes have gone. Is Gable. This guy's the real deal. Damon's the real deal. Let's get after it. Gable Stevenson working with Eddie Thorpe. It's good to see Gable Stevenson doing something in a ring. I thought it impossible. I didn't think it possible that he could do stuff in there. Thing with Gable Stevenson is immediately he's just legit, isn't he? Immediately, like everything you're watching him do, you know you're seeing one of the best in the world. That is one of the best amateur wrestlers of all time. He's got big arms as well, isn't he, man? He's got big arms. It'd be an honor if you came out with me next week. What, on a date? So Stevenson's gonna NXT Underground next week. I love the fact that they've kept that around. I love the fact that they're keeping it. Yeah, man. I mean, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Don't throw everything away. Even though it might not have worked on Raw, there might be something to salvage there. There might be something you can improve upon. Steveson and Thorpe train. And, I want that graphic. NXT Underground. Sean, shout out to you, bud, says, Daze, SmackDown is only live for UK 8 p.m, not elsewhere. Is that true? Is that true? Not true. I'm going to have a look. Is the Fox schedule? Mate, if you've just saved SmackDown for me, do you know how happy I'll be? I'll be over the flipping moon. I was gutted. If you've just saved SmackDown for me, I'll be over the moon. Fox TV schedule. How does this work? Doesn't look right. This right? It just says local programming. June 30th. Okay, well, according to this, I'm on TVinsider.com. That's where I get all my news from. It says 8 p.m. Is that 8 p.m. Eastern time? Is that 8 p.m. GMT time? The flip's that. You see, because what I can do is I can go on to BT Sport, which is the channel it's shown here, go on the catch-up and just press play. So as soon as it starts in the US, just press play. And the great thing is on the catch-up, right, which is actually annoying, but in this case, it will work well for me, the ad breaks are kept where the ad breaks are. So it should be a case that it all matches up. The only thing is, this week, there might not be ads this week because of it being at a different time. So there might have to be a really weird thing where you tell me you've gone to an ad break and I press pause. It might be a bit messy, but it might still be possible, right? It might still be possible to do it. It's on Fox in Canada. It's normal time, USA. This is the best news. This is the best. It's a big show. It's a big show. You got Roman coming back. You've got Asuka against Charlotte. You got Kevin and Sammy taking on Pretty Deadly. Logan Paul on Grayson Waller effect. Like, it's a big show. There's a lot to get your teeth into. And it's in the O2 in London. My people. So I didn't want to miss it, man. I really didn't want to miss it. I mean, I was always going to watch it, but, you know, sitting here like a loner watching it on my own, I don't want to do that. It is the best news. Come on. I'm going to watch it live. So up yours, says James. It's understandable. That is the best news. Okay, well, we'll do that. You lot are going to have to tell me every time we go to commercial breaks. I don't know quite what that's going to... the best news! Okay, so my plan is no AEW tomorrow, right? Because I'm going to go down to London. And as I said, it's been... Who's he? I'm going down to London. Then I'm there Thursday, Friday, but Friday night I'll come back and then I'll watch SmackDown on catch up here in the UK, but it'll be live in America, hopefully live in Canada, everywhere else around the world. That is good. That is good. Sean Rochdale, you the man. You the man. Okay, Wes says... Oh, here's Tyler. Fast counts. Oh. Tyler said if there was a different referee, it would have been a different outcome. Okay, so they're all arguing right now. Mustafa Ali wants a shot at the title. Mr. Stone can't find Von. He was only there. He was only there. You don't understand. The trauma that everyone went through, you just don't get it. Really sensitive about all this, isn't he? Just deal with it. Just deal with it, mate. Bad things happen. Move on. Right, Gigi. Gigi Dolin. Gigi Dolin. I love me some Gigi Dolin. Tyler Bate against Mustafa Ali. Book it now. What if Gable turns on Eddie with his bro, modern day Shelton and Hoss? He could, but I don't know. Is he in NXT? Like, is that what we're doing with Gable? I really don't know. I really don't know if he's staying around. Those two together as a team would be pretty sick, though, wouldn't they? I mean, it's like an extreme Creed brothers. The Creeder brothers. Creed brothers and even Creedier brothers. Right, I need to change this. But what if Gable... Oh, we read that. It was a good shout. Gigi doodling. I sure do love me some Gigi doodling. Gigi Dolin against Kiana James. Go Gigi. Let's go Gigi. Right. Well, a little bit of a step down from the excitement of Nathan Frazer and Dragon Lee, but Gigi's pretty cool. I don't really have many feelings about Kiana James. Kiana rolls out the ring. Championship match still to come. I haven't looked at the poll, actually. We have had 554 votes. 554 votes. 73% of people have gone with Carmelo Hayes. 73% have gone Carmelo Hayes. Could be right. Could be right. Going for the cover, one. Just a one. If they're teaming on the main roster, I would put Kurt Angle with them in a manager's role, says James. Volcano Tacos return on Thursday, says Tim. Shots coming in by Gigi. We have got... How long have we got left? We've got... just under half an hour. Wow, there's that overrun, isn't there? Right, Gigi and Kiana both spill to the outside. Are we going to commercial break again? They both spill to the outside, and then for about 10 seconds, we just watch both of them lying there going, This is wrestling. Taco smell or taco hell, says AB Jobson. Reason why is Seth's segment they had on Monday. Halftime scores. Yeah. Little late for halftime scores, aren't we? Should we do them anyway? Ain't no one to tell us. There's no adults to tell us we can't. Halftime scores, everybody, it's the halftime scores. I really want to know your halftime scores. Put it in the chat. Halftime scores, everybody, it's the halftime scores. Are you happy? It's the halftime scores. Are you happy or you sad? Halftime scores, everybody, it's the halftime scores. I should get that recorded. If I got it recorded, I could just press play then. Just sit here like this. How old that video was now, you know. I was looking at that background. I was like, the background's quite nice. I like this background a lot, but I look so young there. Nicole said 6.5. Donald said 6.5. What do you call Gigi Solon in a bread factory? Gigi Dolin. Nice. Well done. Well done. She should go and work in a bread factory. Maybe that could be if the wrestling doesn't work out. Kappa said 7.8. Greg said 7. Virus said 7. Show's okay. 6, says AB Jobson. Tim said 10 out of 10. No Bray. Jordan said 6.24. Tim, if Bray was on this show, just out of interest, what would you score it? Does it go from 10 to 0? Do we just completely, like, everything goes? Or do we go down to, say, a 7? Like, how much does Bray affect the score? If Bray turned up at the, you know, which would be pretty wild for him to come back in NXT. But if Bray was to rock out, where would we be? Where would we beat him? Wrestling Daze said, do you think that WWE will do more UK pay-per-views each year? I don't think they'll do more UK pay-per-views, but I could see them doing annual. I'm not expecting them to do multiple. I've got to think that there's a good chance we'll go back to doing Raws and SmackDowns over here, because it can't be too long until AEW start doing collisions and dynamites. They've got to, you know, they're coming in with this big show, but would anyone be surprised if AEW start doing dynamites from the O2? Not judging by how well the tickets sold for Wembley. No, there's a very passionate fan base over here, so wouldn't surprise me to see them come over at least once a year to do dynamites and collisions. And listen, WWE, you gotta listen up. You gotta pay attention. You need to get over here. Do you know what I would love? And I don't know if anyone from WWE is watching this, right? If not, I will just let D'Lo Brown know when I see him, right? But can you please bring NXT back over? Because you used to bring NXT over, and it was great. Like in 2016, I went to Bournemouth, right, down by the seaside, where I got to see Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, Shinsuke Nakamura, Asuka. I think Baron Corbin was on that card. Peyton Royce was on that card. I think Revival might have been on that card. But it was sick. It was amazing. It was amazing. Like, to just go in this little room that holds about, I don't know, 500 people, 1,000 people, and see Asuka, Shinsuke, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe. Ugh, it was amazing. And then, like, because NXT UK started, they stopped bringing NXT over. So we didn't get NXT. But I want to go and see Carmelo Hayes and Creed Brothers and The Rock's daughter and, Von Wagner having a breakdown. I want to see, these are the stars of tomorrow. I want to see them in small venues so that I can say to people, yeah, I saw scripts in a room that held only 500 people. I saw scripts. I want to be able to say that. I want to go with Wrestle with Andy, who is Scrip's biggest fan. I want to see Andy's dream come true in person when he gets to meet Scripps. We can't do that if it's always in America. So come on, throw us a bone, would you? Otherwise, I'm gonna stop watching WWE and I'm gonna be AEW days. Yeah. How would you like that? WWE. You wouldn't, would you? Oh, to be honest, I wouldn't care. William, shout out to you. Marissa said 7.3. Hawkins Jr. said at halftime I was 7, but now I'm a 6. Arash Mind said 7.5. WWE need to bring Brock to NXT. Need to bring Brock in. Let's get Brock in. It's about time. I don't think he spent any time in NXT. Selfish. Kiana's going over to her bag. It's coming in by Kiana. She's got her bag. She tries to use it. So DQ, yeah? DQ, ref, yeah? She just tried to use the bag. Roll up. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's a bit strange. So Kiana went to use the bag. She misses with it. She gets flipped over, pinned, and match just ends. Yeah, I feel like this. Yeah. She wallops her with the bag after. What's in that bag? She's going to pull the brick out. That's always a good reveal, isn't it? Oh, she is going in there, and it is. Here we go. Oh, paint. Paint. It's flipping cans of paint. Orange paint and blue paint. I feel like we've gone to NXT 2.0. 2 cans of paint. It's a weird thing, isn't it? Don't you think that's a bit of a weird thing? Could have been like beans. What made her go for paint? What made her go for paint? Okay, this is going to be interesting because what the flip did Stacks do earlier? Coffee? How did you get on my visitation? I know people too. Things aren't what they seem. A lot has changed since you got locked up. Oh, Stacks has double-crossed him, innit? He's double-crossed him. Stacks will handle it. Gods. Tony ain't worked it out, has he? The underboss has got ambition. Stacks sold you out. Have a listen for yourself. So there is audio. I'm done being the underboss. There is a new Don on the streets. Oh dear. Oh dear. It's a good story, isn't it? It's a good story. Why is Booker smiling? Shuggy duggy quack quack. I don't think that's the right comment. I think we need to be a bit more serious after that reveal. I don't think that's a shuggy ducky quack quack moment. That's good though. That's good. Do you know what that is? It's a story, isn't it? It's a story. Let's get Tony out, man. Let's do Tony against Stacks. Kiana just pulled a Maurice, like how she did it to Beth Phoenix with the brick. Here's Roxanne doing a Up NXT. I don't even know what that is. Is that a real show? Up NXT. Gonna shove that right up the NXT. Up NXT. Down AEW. Up NXT. Right, next week, Roxanne versus Blair. Next week, Roxanne versus Blair. Next week. Here's Corbin. Pop, 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 pop. Golden Gloves Champione. There's Carmelo. There is him. He's got his t-shirt. It's got Corbin's head in like a crossfire. It's pretty fun. Roxanne against Blair Davenport next week. Is this storyline people say AEW is missing? If so, I'm glad they don't because it's horrible, says Real Kyle. To be honest, AEW have been missing any sort of storyline. Their main story was MJF and the other pillars. And the build was so bad, it turned me off the two faces that were in that story. So the kind of storyline you can get sometimes with AEW is something that is actually counterproductive. Legit, That build made me not like Darby Allin or Jungle Boy. And now they've turned Jungle Boy heel because of some of the back and forths that they were doing. Some of the other bits that you can get in AEW as well is stories that will start and then just disappear. Like, people will be put with people and then, like, it'll just end and you won't know where it's going. So, like, some of the stuff in AEW is a little bit loose, shall we say? A little bit loose. They can do some good stories. But I would argue not enough of them. And let's not even get started on the women's division or the tag division. I mean, when was the last good story in the tag division? Listen, they could do with a Tony story. Bembo said it's 2023 and Baron Corbin is main event in a show for a title. Just let's not mention it's NXT. Aubrey said, storyline, her AEW, they had great matches, but when there's not a 5-star match, there's nothing left to sink your teeth into. They've done some good stories, right? I mean, the Wardlow MJF story was excellent. That was excellent. But it is just too few and far between. It's too few and far between. Those kind of little stories, like this one with Tony, where, you know, someone's tipped the police off that Tony's been up to no good. He's gone inside. We've checked in with him each week. Stax is trying to work out who it is. We've followed Stax trying to figure out who it is. And now Stax has blamed Gallus. He's kidnapped Joe. A lot of people would be like, oh, another kidnapping, right? And I must admit, I was kind of feeling that way. But what's brilliant is that they've now spun it on its head. He hasn't kidnapped him. He's turned around to him and gone, listen, I'm done with being second fiddle to Tony. I'm done with being the underboss. Lay low, and this is going to work out for all of us. And so, yeah, man, I'm here for it. Sign me up. Sign me up. I can follow it. It makes sense. It's going to build towards a match between Tony and Stax, which should be really fun, really good. Obviously, like, Tony's going to feel betrayed now. It's going to be interesting to see how he reacts. Is he going to stay on his own? Will there be a new underboss? Will he get a new underboss? Is Stax going to join Gallus? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. How do Gallus fit into this? So there's some intrigue there. There's a few questions there. It's logical. You can follow it. It's all good, baby. We are seeing SmackDown. Carmen said, I went to worship service on Sunday at the First Christian Church in Hammond, Indiana. I hope you had fun. Austin, hello. I didn't know you was around, Austin. Austin said, I'm guessing Jungle Boy went heel at Forbidden Door. I've not seen the pay-per-view. Yeah, it went heel at Forbidden Door. Spoiler. Here's JC. I don't know these other women. Oh, she'll be talking about Lyra, won't she? Oh, that's Tatum. She peaked at Battleground. Forearm strike by Lyra, who had snuck up behind JC. Lyra says to JC she doesn't play games. Is that Shay? That's Rhea. You kind of deserved it. Lyra's a badass. Rhea just said to JC, you kind of deserved it. We got the dyads. Joe's audacity to make decisions that impact our careers. Trust Joe, he's got a plan. Oh, God, it's all happening. Rhea says, Lyra. I was just listening to what was being said there. I kind of think some of the points she was making were really good. She said, you didn't know what you was fighting for. You've lost direction. Well, now you know. You're fighting for your careers. So there's a lot next week, man. We got Tyler Bate taking on Mustafa Ali. We got the loser leaves NXT match. We've got the NXT Underground match. NXT is just, it is just bubbling, man. It is just bubbling. All these matches have got a build. They've got something to them. You know why they're happening. They're not just matches as well. NXT Undergrounds, really interesting. Loser leaves NXT, really interesting. Lyra and JC have been arguing for weeks. It's got a build to it. Blair and Roxanne's been building for weeks. It's got a build to it. It's a real tight offering coming from NXT at the moment. Main event. You know, we're really getting to a point where NXT, for me, is really getting back into the conversation of my favorite show. And it's so strange for me to say that because when we were like at the beginning of NXT 2.0, I was so disconnected with it that we took a break. We took a step away. I'd stepped away from it. The quality of the wrestling, the inexperience of a lot of the people that they were bringing through was just so far away from where NXT had been. Fair play. There was people that were like, I'm willing to give them the time they need and all that kind of stuff. But I was like, do you know what? I'm not going to find much in these shows, I don't think, at the moment. So we took that step away, came back. Everyone had obviously kicked on, developed, improved, found their feet. We'd added some new faces. There'd been some people that came down from the main roster. Then, of course, we saw it change away from NXT 2.0, go back to like this gold brand. And it's just gone from strength to strength to strength. I think it's in a really, really good place. This is easily my second favorite era of NXT. I think Black and Gold when we were at Full Sail, when we were getting like Asuka, Balor, Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Bayley, the Revival, DIY, like that sort of, 5-year period, 6-year period, like the Black and Gold. It was fantastic. The very first NXT, which was like a talent show, that wasn't great. But then when we started up with Black and Gold, that was awesome. When we move away from Full Sail, it takes a step down for me. It's still Black and Gold, but I kind of class that as a different era. It's not Full Sail. We go to the Performance Center. That's like 2020 because of the pandemic. That's like I kind of class that as a different era, really. And 2.0 is a different era altogether. But yeah, I'm so enjoying this. Right, let's go. Main event. For the first NXT event in Pittsburgh in 5 years, they should have a Kurt Angle guest appearance and run things for one evening. The Lone Wolf is back now. That is going to help Corbin's momentum. Goes to the outsides. Do you know what? I mean, it is a good point because we've spoke about his ring gear and about how it's sucked. His ring gear in recent weeks has been absolutely awful. So, old school Lone Wolf ring attire. This is much better for him. Okay, so he slid out the ring, got back in, and dropped Carmelo as we go to commercial break. So Carmelo versus Baron Corbin, main events. It's going to get around about, 8-minute over and maybe about 10, 12 minutes. Let's go. Ring of Honor, AEW superstar Silas Young is coming to AR Dub Pro. It's taking place at the Bricky Bowl. The Bricky Bowl. Carmen, shout out to you. Since my and about something like Rocio, shout out to you. I hope Baron Corbin wins, said James. You don't. No, you don't. You've never liked him. Being relegated to NXT is a career ender, says Tim. Well, Finn went back. He did all right. But it's probably not a long list, is it, of people that went back to NXT and then have gone to the main roster and kicked on. Bray. Bray's a great example, and we know how much you rate Bray, Tim. You love Bray. So I think you've just checkmated yourself there, mate. Because Bray was Husky Harris. He went back to NXT. That's when he discovered the Bray character, came up with the Bray character. And look at him now. He's gone on to be your favorite superstar. Tim, we've cracked it. Meeb said, I've got vibes that Corbin will win. James said, when did I say I wanted Corbin to win? Just there, look, Corbin to win. So, Mandy got better back in NXT. Yeah, but she didn't go to the main roster, did she? She could have, but she decided to get the boys out. Listen, if you're going to get the boys out, if the boys are going to have a party, she chose exposure over her wrestling career. And so we'll never know as to how she would have, what she would have gone on to achieve. We can only speculate. Timothy said, JBL said you can't train a turd. Well, I think it's a little tricky, to be honest, to know, is someone like Baron Corbin a turd? Or have they just not found the right creative for him? Because I would say, do you remember when he was down on his luck? And he was, broken. I thought he was really, really good in that role. That's probably the most over I think he ever got. I thought he was really good when he was down on his luck and everything was against him. I sort of feel like you maybe could have done something with that. Big boot there by Corbin. Corbin with a big boot turning Carmelo upside down, inside out. Corbin will win. He's a legend, said Austin. He actually said you can't polish a turd. Has he tried? That would be my response. Has he tried? Carmelo back in the ring. Elbows coming in by Corbin. Let's go. Mr. Official Mailman, 1895. Shout out to you. Let's go Mello chance. Let's go Mello. Corbin will have JBL begging to rep him, but double his rates, says Roddy K. Oh, I just saw some flipping... I can see those emojis that you press. They were showing on my little backstage, little... whatever. YouTube studio. I just saw emojis appearing on this thing. They don't show on here, though, do they? Which is a shame. Your Duncan trainer turd, says Tim. Oh, lovely. Springboard clothesline by Carmelo. Daze, you forgot to mention Hessville in the church. If you read, the church I went to is a First Christian church. I grew up going to church. I am pleased for you. Carmen live too. Hearts, laughing faces. I want to show them on screen. K-pop said, "Do you mean the girls out?" I don't know. I don't know what gender they are. Are they girls? Are they boys? Are they gender neutral? Are they gender fluid? I don't know. In my mind, it's the lads. It's the boys. It's the fellas. Be the girls. Corbin ripping the shirt like a poor man's Hogan. Big pop for Rhea Ripley. Forearm strike. This is for you, little girl. Was he talking to Booker? This is for you. Another big forearm strike. Mello goes down. I tell you what, heavy hands here. Big scream. Someone's screaming their head off all day. Corbin's in control here. Corbin's looking good. Riemann? Is that Austin? Austin, is that you? Someone is like, ah! I think it's Austin. Austin, are you in the NXT arena? Let's go Mello chants. Mello. Mello. Corbin. Where are we? 70% with our poll. Might as well end this poll now, might we? Let's do it. Mello don't miss. He's missing at the moment. He's really missing at the moment. He's AWOL. Big clothesline. Down went Mello. That scream. I don't know. I think it might have been Tim in the chat. I think someone just told him that Bray's coming out in about 5 minutes. Daze, it's Wyndham in the crowd screaming. Let's go. It's got to be, because it's the only Corbin fan there, said James. Okay, so Corbin still in control. He's dominating this. It's making me think that maybe he's not going to win, Corbin, because he's so dominant here. Gotta think Mello's going to come back. He's going to come back, isn't he? Is he coming back? Corbin is down. Mello is up top. Mello. Oh, big frog splash. Oh, huge. 1, 2. Kick out. That frog splash was so big. I think the whole frog community just went, ribbit. Ribbit. I don't know if they can clap, but if they can, literally going wild for that. It was beautiful. Shot coming in by Carmelo. And again, Corbin. Oh, he's just eating these shots. Big strikes to the midsection by Melo. Melo getting pushed back. Corbin. Big boot by Carmelo. Corbin to the outsides. Kick to the side of the heads. Melo. Fade away. Yeah, love that move. That move is sick. Ah. Oh, it's so good. Fade away, so good. Love it. I wish that was his finisher, actually. I wish that was his finisher. That is such a great move. It's a shame because, like, no one pops. No one pops for it. I think it's sick. Kick coming in by Melo. Double knees. Corbin goes down to one knee. Melo going against the ropes. Off. Oh, the height. Oh, it's a little bit botchy, but I think he might have surprised himself with the height that he just got with that springboards. It's a little botchy. I'm guessing he was meant to, like, jump back into, like, a DDT, maybe? I don't know what he was trying for. Just flipping collided into him. Do you think as he was mid-air then he was like, what am I even going for here? I don't even know what I'm doing. So he didn't seem to be shaping for like a springboard DDT or whatever. He just seemed to like collide into Corbin. It was effective though. Knocked him down. He knocked him down, but he got up again. I just saw a replay of it. He literally just springboards and like collides into him. It's wonderful. Roll through by Melo. Choke slam by Corbin. Reversal. Roll through to double knees. No joy. Corbin has got Melo on his shoulders. Oh! Plants him down. It might be the beginning of the end. Choke slam. Oh, backbreaker. Corbin. One. Oh, kick out. Kick out, baby. Kick out. Kick out. Oh. Man, that really felt like this could be it. This could be it. This could be it. This could be it. It wasn't it. It wasn't it. It wasn't it. And you saw me on the sofa. It wasn't it. And you did it on the counter. It wasn't it. Right, we carry on. 2 count. All we need is Bruiserweight Pete Dunne. The tadpole splash, says K-pop lover. What happened to Paige Van Zandt? I don't know, actually. I don't know if she's still under contract. Corbin catches Carmelo, picks him up. Boo! Powerbomb onto the commentary table. And the commentary table does not budge. I'm better than you every day of the week. Elbow to the back of the head by Baron Corbin. Look at Trick. Trick's like... Hayes is out. Hayes is out. 1, 2. He kicks out. Wow. Vic Joseph just lied to us, didn't he? Vic Joseph is like, I looked in his eyes. He's out. So Corbin puts him in the ring. 1, 2, and he kicks out. Fun match this is. Really fun. It could go any which way. He's grabbing Melo. I think they've got to go home. God, the overrun. We're nearly 10 minutes over. Big shot coming in by Corbin. Another shot by Corbin. Against the ropes. Knee strike by Carmelo. Melo against the ropes. Oh, deep seal! Oh, no! Oh, knee strike by Carmelo. Oh. Oh, deep six connects. Deep six connects. Deep six. Cobb. Oh, kick out. Oh, kick out. Oh, such a good deep six as well. It was so good. It was like the deepest of sixes. Ooh. It was such a deep six. I think it was a 5. I really think it was a 5. He's trying to get Carmelo up. Looking for end of days. Reversal by Carmelo. Corbin goes out the ring. Kick coming in there by Carmelo. Trick moves out the way. Carmelo goes over. Corbin grabs him. What's the overrun here? What are we doing? Have we just thrown, like, the schedule out the window? DDT on the edge of the ring by Carmelo. Carmelo grabbing Corbin. Carmelo going up top. It's good, man. It's good. Amazing match. WWE is cooking, says Tommy. Oh, leg drop, back of the head. That's beautiful. 2, 3, Carmelo wins. I've said before, it's not the move I would have as his finisher. It's a good move. I prefer the fadeaway, though. But a beautiful match. Really, really entertaining main event. Carmelo retains. He was him. He was him. Corbin asked the question, are you him? Corbin's like, I am. Carmelo's like, I am him. What a match. Great match. Should have been Corbin, says Connor. Where's Austin? How does Austin feel? Corbin can work. I hate the guy, but I respect his character work. Nah, bad match, said Austin. Tommy says better than the Omega match. I think the finish was better. Are we going to get some after? Or, I mean, I don't mind if we don't. Been a big 24 hours, in it? He was on Raw. Granted, he lost, but he was on Raw. They were showing video packages about him. He has a match against Finn Balor. And now here he is putting on a banger against Baron Corbin. It's all good in Carmelo Hayes' world. Corbin needs a push. Chris said amazing match. It was back and forth. Look at Corbin. He's mad. You should have helped Rhea. Where is she? I really thought I was waiting for her to come down and distract. And I mean, she warned him. That was good having her there as well, because it did put that seed in your mind. It made me think, like, yeah, she could get involved here. Don't get involved in Judgment Day business. Sean, what's this? Ron. You can't control me. You and everyone else will find out next week. So we go to Shawn Michaels' office where Braun is shouting at Shawn, but I didn't hear what he was shouting, so I need to, it was something like, you don't control me. I've beaten everyone. Can't control me. Figure it out. You and everyone else will find out next week. You don't control me. He sounds like an 8-year-old having a tantrum. You're not my parents. You can't tell me what to do. And he stormed out. Wow. It's a fun show, wasn't it? I enjoyed it. I am thinking, is it the best episode of NXT this year? I mean, last week was fun, but I don't massively remember it because I was not in a great place. I mean, now that I'm more with it and I can actually absorb what I'm watching, I think that was really good, you know. I think that was really good. I mean, apart from maybe the Gigi match against Kiana James, there's not really anything there that I really was bored or was, like, you know, not enjoying. And to be honest, you know, the paint at the end I thought was a nice touch, even in that Gigi Kiana match. I thought the paint at the end was good. So I love the Tony reveal as well. I love the schism thing. It's interesting. I love the main event. It's great. I love the Heritage Cup match. This might be the best NXT of the year. It might be the best NXT of the year. No, I don't know. I don't know. There might have been a better one. I think it's up there. It can't be the best of the year because Corbin lost. James said it's definitely up there with being one of the best. Yeah, I probably can't recall, like, everything, obviously. So, you know, there might have been one that was even better, but I feel good in saying easy top 10. Easy top 10. Maybe easy top 5 for the year. I think this will be a top 10 by the end of the year as well. Because there's only 52 in a year. Yeah, really, really, really good. I mean, it's a mini pay-per-view. You've got the tag match, your tag titles being defended. You've got the women's title being defended. You've got the main title being defended. You've got the Heritage Cup being defended. And so not only has, like, every match got some riding on it, apart from Gigi and Kiana. So pretty much every match has got some riding on it. You've then got some big moments. Stax has turned on Tony. I mean, they've been together a long time. And not only that, you've got, banging match. It's not just that the matches mean something. They're banging matches as well. They're really good. I really enjoyed it. And do you know what? That's all that matters. I loved it. I know there was one better, but I just don't remember it, says Austin. Where would you rank Seth Rollins in the best in the world list? Top 10. I'd put him top 10. I mean, I feel like he's in the conversation for the best in WWE at the moment. But, well, Gunther maybe might have the nod over him. But, I mean, I don't watch Impact, so I don't know what's happening there. New Japan-wise, I think there's probably a good chunk from New Japan that would get in there. Danielson, I think, would get in there. But I actually thought Danielson's match at Forbidden Door was fine, but I didn't think it was anything spectacular. I felt the crowd were really quiet as well. I don't think the crowd were really massively into that main event. So, I don't know. I mean, like, him and Okada, it was not the dream match that I was hoping for. But he is still in the conversation. Okada is still in the conversation. I think Omega, when he has singles matches, is still in the conversation. Ospreay is in the conversation. I keep hearing that Zack Sabre Jr. is the one. You know, he's in the conversation. So Ospreay, Omega, Zack Sabre, Okada, Danielson, Seth Rollins, maybe Sonata, but I don't know. I don't know quite how his matches. I don't know. I mean, he is the guy. They've put the belt on him. So, you know, he could be putting in some amazing stuff. Gunter, I would say, is in the conversation as well. I know that Josh Alexander in Impact kept getting a lot of praise, but I think he's out injured at the moment. So, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I can't say anything about, like, Impact. Can't say anything about MLW. But I feel pretty good that he's in the mix. But I can't sit here and say, oh, Seth's number one. I can't. There's so many great wrestlers around the world. It's a great time. It's a great time for wrestling. John said, with NXT Underground, do you think WWE has learnt lessons? Well, yeah. I mean, I think the big thing they've probably learnt is that this thing isn't a show. So, you know, they're not actually... Because Raw Underground was a segment. I don't believe the match was called Raw Underground. It was like, let's go over to Raw Underground. And so Raw Underground was a ring without ropes in a backstage area. And, you know, it was like an MMA type thing. But I don't remember them ever being referred to as Raw Underground matches. It was Raw Underground was its own segment. It was its own thing. So, you know, it seems like one of the things they've learned is that NXT Underground, the underground match, if you will, is its own match type rather than its own segment, its own show. Could there be other changes to that? Maybe. I mean, to be honest, I think a ring without ropes, I think you can do something better than that. You know, I mean, the platform looked fine. Like a ring looks fine, but the ring posts looked a little bit weird just being there without any ropes on them. I'm not saying put ropes. I think, you know, we don't need that. Maybe there is something you could do there. Maybe there's something you could do. I don't know. Maybe you just take the ring. I don't think you can take the ring posts away, though, because I think they're actually welded onto the structure of the ring. So a ring without ropes, I don't believe you can just take ring posts off. So we might not see a change there. It might be that it is just a ring without ropes again. I suppose in a way it kind of ties into a bit of the rough and ready feel, you know? Like they haven't done anything special for it. It is literally a ring without ropes. It's just very basic, stripped back. And, you know, does that tie in with the aesthetic? The only thing I would say is that I just think that if you are going to make this a regular thing and it's going to become an underground match, I think you could probably come up with something better. I don't think you have to just have a ring without ropes. So, but I think like where I would imagine we will do it in front of the crowd. So I don't think it'll be out back. Maybe it will, though. Maybe it will. Perhaps the crowd will have to just watch it on the screen. So I am very interested to see what they change in comparison to the original Raw Underground and see how it differs. But yeah, it's going to be... I love it. I love the fact that, you know, next week we've got something to really look forward to. That is something to look forward to. You know, some people might look at it and go, oh, I never liked Raw Underground, so I'm not going to like this. I'm looking at it as, oh, okay, well, how is this going to work in NXT and how's it going to work in 2023? There's a bit of intrigue there for me, which makes me want to tune into the show. I give NXT 8.5, said Sean. MLW is great, says James. Raw Underground ended too fast, says Kian. If you're doing a ring without ropes, you might as well make it false count anywhere match whilst you're at it, says John. Kieran said, will Shane host it? I'm not expecting Shane, but it would be a nice little callback if he was involved in some way. John said, if you're doing a ring without ropes, you might as well make it false count anywhere. Second Ashes test start in 7 hours. That's true. Oh, God. So excited. Josh Tung is in. Moeen Ali is out. It's the only change from Edgbaston. Yeah, so excited. I'll be following that all throughout Wrestling Shop. I mean, if you come down to Wrestling Shop, if it's quiet, there's a chance I'll just be sat following the cricket. D-Lo, come here. Have you ever seen cricket? Bill, come here. You'll love this. Well, you might not, but it's awesome. Right, I'm done. I'm going to let the dog out, and I'm going to do my little 1-minute recap thing, which I've started doing as videos now. They're still a minute, but it just means I can do thumbnails, to be honest. I think thumbnails are... I think they're important. I think, a good thumbnail can really help things. So I've started to do them as videos rather. They're still shorts, but I do them as videos now. So that's the change for that. But really appreciate people joining us. I hope you enjoyed the show tonight. I thought it was excellent. It gets a Daze seal of approval. And no AEW from me tomorrow, because as I said, I'm in London. But great news about SmackDown. So my plan is I'm out of London at, say, 8 o'clock, maybe 9 o'clock on Friday. I'm on a train. I'm heading back to the Midlands. I'm back here at like... what time will I be back here? I'll be back here at about hopefully 11, half 11. Hopefully stream at 12. And then I'll just watch the show on catch up. And you lot in America and hopefully Canada will be able to watch SmackDown live. And I can watch it along. We can all watch it at the same time. The commercials are going to be a nightmare. We'll work our way around it. We'll make it work. The bottom line is we can do it. We can find a way. We can do it. And I'm proper thrilled about it. So awesome. Right. AB Jobs said, enjoy London. Yeah. Appreciate it, man. Are you at Money in the Bank? No, I'm here. We are streaming it. We're going to do the watch along. I ain't missing the watch along for Money in the Bank. It's going to be sick. So we are doing that on Saturday. And we're starting early, man. Starting early. I'm coming back home so that I can be here for Money in the Bank. So, it's going to be good. Awesome, guys. Thanks for watching. I will see you again next time.